What's good, Relocation Football League fan? It's your boy Smitty back here with some RFL action through podcast breakdown. As we got Rob and Bill here, both in the building. Finally got Billy Bill back. How you guys doing?
Yo, doing pretty good.
Let me make sure that this audio is right because I accidentally touched the desktop audio. Can you guys hear Rob and Bill right? I want to make sure I put it back.
Testing, sound check.
I don't know if you can hear those guys clearly. What's good, everybody? Said turn them up a little. I hear them. Hear them fine. All right, yeah. I think we had it set at 11.3, right, Rob?
Yeah, 11.3.
All right, yeah. So
Can
that's
always
back
get closer to the mic too. If it gets a little quiet, it's all good.
Yeah. So here we are with the week 4, going into week 5 podcast breakdown here, man. Should make for a great podcast. A crazy week. Final games that was going to be played on Arcade. It's Sim Week. It's going to be a big week coming up here. I can't believe it already. 1/3 of the season finished. Before you know it, it's going to be bowl games. It's going to be championship games, and it's going to be the RFL season 6 coming up in just about 3 months here. Man, let's just get into the action here. I'm trying to find where this button is that I put. Okay, here it is. All right, so the first game, we've got UCLA and Washington, and Washington was able to walk away with a pretty easy victory here. I don't know what was going on with UCLA's offense, but they were only able to put up 6 points. Definitely uncharacteristic. Their offense kind of looked off in that one. Washington showed up, though. Final score, 23-6.
Want me to go first, Rob, again? What you got for notes?
Oh, I got a lot.
All right, I'll go first then. I don't have as much as you. I just thought, man, Washington came out with a vengeance. They came out, got the first upset of the week. They just seemed ready. I don't know what was going on with UCLA. They just didn't seem to want to play this week, man. So a big win for Washington, because if I remember correctly, they were winless coming into this game. So, just a weird game for UCLA.
Yeah, Romanelli was a better QB that day. He had 0 mistakes. Jace Worth, he underperformed for the most part, had 1 interception. And, when a QB underperforms, typically you lose games. I felt that both teams established the run for the most part. Time just ran out on UCLA. Washington's wide receiver core, man, hats off to LeCavalier. 9 receptions, 113 yards. Jeremy Bocelli, had great days. And also UCLA's Godspeed Jr., man. He was a lone ranger for UCLA on that day. 8 receptions, 105 yards, but really nobody else made noise on UCLA that day at all. And you can just see by the score right here what that was all about. Another honorable mention is to Juice Adams on defense, 14 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss. Simeons and Alexander also, made good statements, made high stat lines as well. But again, these stats, when you got 14 and 15 tackles, man, and you lost the game 23-6, that's not gonna be good for right now. So we really can't give them accolades on that. They were getting worked, so RIP to that right there. But later on down the line, we start scouting and everything. Then you'll say, okay, this guy had 120 tackles. Okay, he was a big deal. We know he can tackle. But otherwise, man, they just got worked, man. So hats off to Washington.
Yeah, that was very, very undermining performance of UCLA's offense. Like you said, just no production. Did not look the same. Hopefully they'll bounce back next week. Game following this one, you called this one. This is up there in debate between a game of the year, or at least second best after this amazing week. Notre Dame took on Auburn. Game went all the way into overtime. Auburn was able to pull it out to remain undefeated at 4-0 as the number 2 ranked team still in the RFL College Series with a final score of 36-30.
I was just saying, man, this is a crazy game. Both these guys are just going at it in the second half, and we got to OT, and I was a little hesitant, a little worried about that decision there on that fourth down to go for it when it seemed like they're already in field goal range, but Auburn ended up making it work and pulled it off. But I was a little worried there for a second, something crazy was going to happen. But yeah, Auburn gets a big win, man, and just a crazy game.
Yeah, unfortunately, but fortunately, man, we got to rest in peace of the arcade mode, man. With that, no one truly knows, if who was fraud and who was on point, man. These 4 weeks and everything, so you got to change over the last 4 weeks. But regardless, man, you know what I'm saying. We got more football to play. With that said, this is one of the best games I have ever seen. In the college series. With respect to just the game from both of the teams, it was just a great night, man. And I just thought that this game just really played out very, very well. I know people will probably say last night's game with OU and Baylor was a great game as well. I'm not going to argue that's not, but I just thought that this game here, man, I watched the entirety of the game all the way through the overtime win for Auburn. Every single snap. It didn't leave the stream and come back and everything and show up in the second, third quarter like Miami fans do. But anyway, I'm talking about Miami basketball team. Yeah,
okay.
That. But anyway,
play the bell anyway.
But yeah, man, get a bell anyway, right? But no, anyway, I just thought that Notre Dame and Auburn, really came, set the pace, for the week. I can't really, comment, on anything else, man. I just thought that, we used the community sliders in that game. If you didn't watch this game, it's a tragedy in itself, man. Just two great performances, two great quarterbacks, Alex Jackson and Javon Warren. Two great rushing days for Collins and Fenimore for the most part. Only around 80 yards, but still a good performance if you watch every snap of that game. Warren with a standout performance, man. Hats off to him. Fenimore with a standout performance. Hats off to him. And there are several other players. The list just goes on. This game, it went into OT, as we said. Warren, he gets the win. That was just so epic, man. And you just really just had to be there, man. You know what I mean? If you're, in some of these games, I understand, that some of these games are going to be boring. But, you got to watch the entirety of these games, man. You can't just show up in the second or third quarter or dunk, pop in and out and everything and then say, this game, what's going on here? Like you got to watch these games in the entirety, man. I watch all these games, and I pride myself on watching all the games from first quarter through the last, whether it's live or whether it's after the fact. But this is just a great game, played really, really well. Hats off to Notre Dame and Auburn.
An instant classic in the RFL College Series for sure, man. We're going to have another game to talk about that was in that same conversation to end out these recaps. But after this game on Friday, we had upset here as Wisconsin. We got Bill in the podcast for this one. Of course, he shows up when they win. As they were able to beat Michigan by a nice margin here, 35-13. You said RIP to that, Rob? Yeah, let me hit that bell.
I want my own RIP to all the dang haters, the chat, and in this booth right now on this podcast. Wisconsin.
I mean, let's keep it a bean though here, Bill. This is arcade. You going back to Sim? You think you guys gonna be like that? You guys gonna be like that the rest of the season?
What happened was we were like that because it was arcade. Now you're about to see what really is about to happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we got Duncan, man. Duncan just knocked the wind out of Michigan. And then in the fourth, they're like, you know what? Let's let Malcolm Love just finish these guys off. Oh, this is great. Great game.
Man, I had a lot of notes on this game, man. I'm trying to sort them right now, Smitty.
All good.
Let's see. All right, so it's bad when you lose to a quarterback who only threw 12 passes. 188 yards. 188 yards he threw for, 1 touchdown. This is the guy Malcolm Love on Wisconsin. Only 12 passes thrown, man. You know what I'm saying? 9-12. Michigan 1-3 in the red zone. They've actually struggled in the red zone the last 2 weeks. They are currently 1-5 or 1-6 in the red zone the last 2 weeks. 3-4. They're gonna say that's arcade mode. I'm pretty sure. Wisconsin was 4-4 in the red zone. That's got to be arcade mode because obviously it catered to Wisconsin's team more than it catered to Michigan's team. Malcolm Love had 0 interceptions and Poley had 1 interception. Joe Duncan, though, rest in peace to the run defense right now of Michigan, man. 32 carries, 171 yards, 3 touchdowns. Badgers came in and just pretty much declawed the Wolverines in this game here.
Nice.
Tavion Blue, 5 receptions, 170 yards, 1 touchdown. And I got a lot of other things to say here, man. First of all, the first 2 weeks, Michigan was blazing it up. They had 78 total points. They got 105 on the season right now.
Mm-hmm.
Poly has 4 interceptions in the last 2 weeks. That's week 3 and week 4. 4 interceptions, right? Now, receiving touchdowns. There are only 3 receiving touchdowns on this team and 105 points, and that's receiving touchdowns by wide receivers. Guess who the other touchdowns have gone to?
Who was that?
The halfback, Sandstrom. So this is what I'm gonna say here. Now they haven't leaned on him in the last couple of weeks, which is why his numbers have gone down. They've been trying to pass to Hodge because Hodge all of a sudden has gotten way more targets than everybody else now. So I'm just gonna rest in peace to the wide receiver core right now. They really need to step it up and start getting into the end zone. And I think that Sandstrom is gonna be the centerpiece of this offense right now. I think this game needs to start running Sandstrom more because even when we looked at the first week where he had 3 touchdowns, still carrying the load every week, carrying the load, either receiving touchdowns or rushing touchdowns. He has helped the team out, but right now they've fallen 2-2 because they've decided to pass more and they're not getting any production out of the wide receivers. And you can look up the stats, you know what I'm saying, all you want. So all I'm gonna say right there is rest in peace to the wide receiver core there, man, and hopefully the sim saves them.
I think I counted about 15 bells on that one there. So that was a lot of bells. Instead of me saying when I hit it, I'm just going to play it so it's just seamless. But yeah, that was
when you play Wisconsin,
overkill.
That's what happens.
Someone
RP
says
to that
Michigan
statement.
should be going to Hodge, man. They have been going to Hodge. Hodge's numbers have actually increased over the last 4 weeks. He only had something like 2 or 3 targets the first week, but he's actually had his highest week this previous week here. So they are targeting Hodge. It's not that they're not targeting Hodge more. It's that the team overall, it's not just on one player, and it's a scheme. So they've got to get into the end zone as well, man. They haven't been in the end zone but one time in 6 tries in the last 2 weeks.
And I think the biggest issue, you can't really say that they're not targeting Hodge too much. I mean, like Rob says, the targets are going up little by little for him as each week goes on. But I think that Poly is spreading the ball around to a lot of different wide receivers, which is no problem with that. But I also feel like Michigan, just from watching their games, they love, like Rob was saying, to use Sandstrom, and that's their main go-to guy. And when that's not working, that's when they struggle, as we saw from these last 2 weeks. So we'll have to see what they'll do.
And keep it spicy too, man. Cats don't want to admit when they getting locked up, man. This is no disrespect to you, Hodge, here, man. But it just came across the chat. This just got to be said, man. Y'all got to start crediting some of these DBs too, man, because there's some solid DBs, especially the ones that are non-generics or that are not user-submitted players that are pretty solid on these teams, man. So, but we're going to see all. We're going to see, man.
We're going to see, man. This week coming up here, starting tomorrow. We're going to see the real deal. All right, following this game, we started it off with a one-sided blowout for Premier Games as Clemson hosted Washington State. Washington State, they started out great. They were 2-0 on the season, upset at Florida, took a L, and then they came into this one, and their rankings slowly starting to plummet and starting to come down to earth to where people kind of predicted them to be this season. Clemson was able to get a huge win here by 31 points. Final score 44-13.
There's not a whole lot to say about this one, man. I mean, Clemson just rocked them. And Washington State, they started out good. They had some good wins, and they might still do some stuff later this year, man. But I think that, as you get play teams like Clemson and, all these bigger schools with more prospects, this is the kind of thing that's going to happen. And Clemson just came out and punched him in the mouth. And I think Clemson was a little mad at their top 25 ranking. I think that's what really happened here. That's why they just waffle stomped them.
Yeah, starting out 0-2. You got to bounce back.
Yeah, and I thought I knew Clemson was going to win. I know that we talked about Washington State being, maybe a sleeper, but Clemson's a big school. They got a lot of prospects, man. I knew that they were going to have a game like this eventually, and they do it here.
Man, yo, shout out to my boy Mitch, man. My boy Mitch, he should be in the chat right now, man. I love you, man, with the stats and everything, dog. But, I'm putting this RIP on you, my brother, because Hartfield is looking terrible. Terrible.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
You tried to goat him live in the podcast. You tried to goat him a couple of weeks ago. Rest in peace to you goating people. Your access is denied. Now, Hartfield, 47.3 rating, 22 of 41, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, 53% completion ratings. This boy, but he just needs to start running.
And not just to cut you off right there, but I gotta send an RIP to that.
Yeah.
Simply because the guy was on Arcade. And his
Yeah.
rating was that low. So go ahead, continue, Rob.
Yeah. So I got look, man. He just need to keep on running because he was doing his Forrest Gump earlier on, and I guess that's when you thought he was sweet. But the man is just, I don't know about this guy right here. He might be the worst dual threat quarterback in this series right now, man. But I'm gonna just hold off there because I'm gonna wait, you know. But look, if your QB cannot distribute the ball through the air, you know what I'm saying, and he's only using his legs, it's gonna be hard out here. You know what I'm saying? Especially gonna be hard on your halfback because your halfback now, you know, if you're passing, and your halfback's not getting the carries, he's never gonna even get into the groove of the game. It's another RIP to Oswald Hershey, right? The last couple of weeks because he only had like 29 yards or something like that and 33 last week. So he's not even getting the carries. He probably should be coming. He looks like a decent back out here. I do want to give honorable mentions out to Q-Pop Machiavelli, man, out of Washington State. He had 6 receptions, 99 yards, 1 touchdown. He wants to be drafted, man. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the guy. Definitely scouting him.
I pressed the RIP button, my bad.
Yeah, it's all good. Shout out to Clemson. Clemson's Julian Barnes. He had 7 receptions, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. Rochester had 3 receptions, 70 yards, 1 touchdown. Fecky does it again, man. And also, I want to give a shout out to because I haven't been giving the defense a lot of love either, man. So I tried to look at more defense this week. Shout out to Marcus Strong, cornerback. I see you, brother. I see what you're doing out here, man. I'm watching you.
Nice.
Just to add this, because I don't think anybody's aware of this, and this is probably gonna only be something that me and guys get, and maybe a couple in the chat. But does anybody here know who actually submitted field?
No, you know?
I don't know.
I know who it is.
Who
was that?
I'll just say it. You guys will know. Corn Chips.
Oh, rest in peace. Rest in
Chips.
man.
Yeah.
That's why his players is Chips right now.
No wonder, man.
Not
no wonder
Chips. Oh my
Bugles
God.
are still bugles
Hey,
from the corner store,
hit that bell again. Hit that bell again.
Boy,
Oh man.
Dipsy Doodles out here.
Chips.
The 99 cent. Oh man.
Oh man, he looked good the first 2 weeks, my guy, but oh man.
Boy, oh boy.
Oh man.
You
Let's
should
go
never
ahead and
throw
go
me
on
that.
to the next game, man. I didn't even know that myself. I should have looked more into those.
I just checked again because I remember that name coming through, and I was like, man, really? This is happening. And I just checked again in the email, man. Sure enough.
Not Chips. Oh man.
Not Chips, man.
One more RP, man. One more RP. Let's move on to the next game, though, as Iowa still can't search for a win. They've been playing some really good ball these last, I believe, 3 weeks, but they just have not been able to get a win as they fall short of Florida State, who's on a hot streak right now. I believe they're on a 3-game winning streak after their first blowout loss against Wisconsin in the first game of the season. Final score here, 34-28.
I thought that this game started out, I mean, the score doesn't say it, but like it seemed to be in the first half, it was a little slow, and then in the fourth quarter, it just seemed to like turn up. It ended on a really weird note. What the heck was that? I've started seeing that in a couple of games now with that weird animation, man.
Yeah, and that's and to talk more just on that was one of the another big reason on why I really wanted to move away from the arcade, because I realized that at the final minute that's the reason why you see most of those animations where they don't fumble when they should, and you rarely see that on sim. I don't even know if it happens on sim. I haven't seen it from any test games, but because the game does not want them to lose the ball often, it allows that glitch to happen, and they hang on to the ball, and that's what's
weird,
been
man.
causing some.
I mean, either way,
serious
like I expected Florida State to get the win. I was actually, I think I was a little surprised that it was so close. I mean, they got the win like they should have, even though it was on a weird situation. But yeah, good win for Florida State.
Yeah, I brought back, I resurfaced my question, Smitty, man. You know, how good do you have to be to get a win, man? Hopefully the RIP, go ahead and RIP to arcade mode. Hopefully the RIP to the arcade mode we'll actually start to see QBs as who they really are. Peterson, 107.5 QBR, 21 of 26, 255 yards, 80%. You know, he had no blemishes, but you know, what more can you ask, really? You know, for your quarterback. I mean, that's a great day in the RFL. That equals a win usually.
Excellent
you know,
day.
So rest in peace again to the arcade mode, man. But I do got to rest in peace the defense of Iowa. Well, actually on both sides. But I'm gonna go ahead and rest in peace both sides. Nathan Tucker, 149.3 QBR, 26 of 33, 341 yards, 5 touchdowns, man, 5 touchdowns. And then on the other side of things, the running game was just insane. As well for Iowa, man. They had over 200 yards, something like that, on the ground or whatever, 100 or 185 yards. I'm sorry, between Peterson and Markham. So rest in peace to Florida State's run defense there, man. They got ran all over there. But honorable mentions, man. Keith Gavin, 10 receptions, 157 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think it's Elias DeMarco, 5 receptions, 76 yards, 1 touchdown. Babcock had 4 receptions, 64 yards, 1 touchdown. FSU defense just turns up, man. I went ahead and just wrote down real quick. Jackson, Nasruddin, and Lars Woodbay all had high tackling stats and everything, but there really was just no defense going on here, man. Which is defense has obviously been spotty in some games. Yeah, man, that's all I had on that one.
Yeah, Iowa's still looking for their first win of the season. Like I said, been playing some good ball. We'll have to see if they can bounce back next week. I think they got a tough opponent next week. We'll see that when the schedule for this upcoming week surfaces after these games. But following this one, we had Penn State taking an upset and loss against Minnesota while they had to play them over there in Minnesota. And, man, they just barely were able to get the win. For a minute, I would have to say for the most part, my Minnesota was dominating this one. And then it almost looked like for a second Penn State was going to come back, tie this game up, and then win it in overtime. But they couldn't get the 2-point conversion, and the final score ended up being 27-25.
I thought that Minnesota just seemed to make your plays throughout the game. Penn State kept it close, obviously, in the end, and it was a nail biter, man. I mean, both teams played well offensively throughout the whole game, I guess you could say. At some points, it looked like Minnesota might just pull away. And come down to that last two-point conversion. That's a tough way to lose, man. I mean, at least you don't lose by more than that, but just miss that 2-point conversion to send it to OT. That's a tough way to lose. So, but good game for both teams.
Yeah, this is just one of those good classic QB battles, man. I really like this kid, Ramos, man. I like Kershaw too, but I like Ramos, man. What I've been seeing out of this guy, he keeps his team in the game, man. Whether they win or losing, he keeps them in the game for the most part. He had a 125.2 QBR, 34 of 40, 322 yards, 3 touchdowns, man. How good you got to be, man? You know what I mean? Kershaw, 114 QBR, 26 of 37, 316 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rest in peace to the run game for both of these teams, though. Only 57 yards total between the backs. Actually 57 yards total for the whole team on the ground, and the backs split 35 of those yards, man. So run game just non-existent, a QB pass heavy day. Honorable mentions are going out to, I have Jake Paulson from Minnesota, 8 receptions, 105 yards, 1 touchdown. And my boy Khan, I'm sorry, Khan, I'm missing your first name. I know it starts with an M. But Khan, man, PSU, 7 receptions, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. About 2 podcasts ago, I said rest in peace to him, man, because he wasn't getting targeted. So he's finally getting targeted, man. He's getting into the end zone. He had a great day, man. Good for him. And we also want to go ahead and shout out some defense here. Babadook. Isn't that like a that's a horror show, movie or something, right? Yeah, Babadook. I just noticed
Babadook.
that.
Yeah,
the Babadook. Yeah. 12 tackles for him, and McQuilkin had 10 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. Other than that, man, it was just a dogfight between both of these two teams. I like the game.
Yeah, great game, man. Minnesota able to just barely pull that one out, but they got it done. And I believe that the tight end you were talking about, I think his first name is Mason. I think it's Mason Khan.
Mason Khan. Yeah.
Next game, we've got, man, it was a close one. Nebraska, they were able to get their first win last week, and they almost got another one this week. This game, I believe, went into overtime off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it did. And Ohio State since they're OSU. Oklahoma State was able to get the win here. Final score 31-28.
I can't remember if this went to OT or not, if this was like a last-second
That's
field
what
goal.
I was saying. I think it was either last second or it was overtime.
It was last-second field goal.
I think it was OT.
This is OT.
It was OT.
I mean, either way, man, it was a close game. I was surprised. Nothing against Nebraska. I just assumed that OSU would take the W without needing a last-second field goal like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a good game, competitive game. It seems like a lot of these teams don't want to play like 1 through 3rd quarter. And then in the 4th quarter, they're just like, oh, hey, we got to score points. And then it's just like both teams just score at will until somebody's got to kick a last-second field goal or a Hail Mary for a touchdown. But I just seen like 4 or 5 of them this week, and it's crazy, man. Some of these teams got to start playing for the first 3 quarters, so they don't need a crazy 4th quarter to pull it out. But OSU gets it done. Good game.
Yeah, let's see. Well, I was just writing here. Looked like I was doodling, man. I said, okay, I'll just say it all. I said some people watch players, some people watch gameplay, some people watch players and gameplay. Some people watch the entire game and analyze the players and the gameplay. Other people just watch a quarter or two or whatever. I really was going off on that one. I said this was a classic. Yeah, okay. So I really like this game. It was a classic. The game doesn't really pick up really until the late second quarter. OSU leading 17-7 at that point. Nebraska battles back in this game. They take a 21-20 lead, man. That was very impressive by Moore out there. I really liked what he did out there. And then they take that lead, man, from the third into the fourth quarter, 21-20, and they actually led until about 3 minutes to go in that game. Then OSU ends up scoring off a touchdown in the red zone from Diaz. Shout out to Diaz. They go up 28-21, and it looked like the game was pretty much over with 1:40 left on the clock, except Nebraska. They come all the way back, man. They go back down in like 40 seconds or something like that and make it 28 all. And next thing you know, man, I think this game did go into overtime, guys. But it was one. It was one on a field goal. And I really felt bad. I really felt bad for Jeremy Moore here. He had 4 touchdowns on a day. Thomas Didymus, shout out to you, man. 25 carries, 95 yards, 1 touchdown.
Kid's been performing every week.
Oh yeah, I like Diddy, man. Diddy man doing the Diddy bop there. And then Diaz had 8 receptions, 126 yards, and 1 touchdown. Is Wandale Robinson a real player, or is he one of ours?
I think he's a real player because I don't think he was generic. I know he wasn't a submitted guy.
Okay, cool. Well, he had a 75-yard touchdown earlier on, man. That was crazy, man. Looking at that when he broke like 3 tackles and then just skated up the field, man. Nobody catched him, but I thought that was a really good game. It played out pretty good.
So apparently, we look bad for this, but that game did not go in overtime. That game was actually won last minute. It's all good, man. Look.
Yeah, sorry about that, man.
RP to us up here for that. But yeah. But I mean, it was a great game, and just some more other points. Jeremy Moore, he's looking good. Still though, we're gonna have to see. Is he gonna look the same when we go to Sim? There's a lot of big questions of that for a lot of players who are looking good right now.
Well, wasn't it on Sim the first week? That's what I've been trying to understand.
Yeah, when it was on Sim the first week, they got destroyed.
He was terrible.
Yeah, he got destroyed.
And then he got good. Yeah,
beat by Auburn. Granted, he did play
might,
Auburn.
Yeah, he might relapse, man. Go back to the old ways.
he might, man, because I mean, Arcade's got him out there high complete. What was his numbers? What was his number? 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns.
Yeah,
he was terrible.
I don't know if he's going to be able to do that again. But yeah, I mean, good performance by him. He's looking good. It's going to be crazy if he's able to keep this performance up, but we'll have to see. The next game, we had a great game. It was Texas taking on USC. A great clash between these two teams, but the Trojans were able to pull it out by a field goal here. Final score was 30-27.
Another OT game, man. Another good game. Every time I see these two teams face off, I always think of like the 2005 Rose Bowl with all that hype around it, man. But yeah, I just love watching these two teams play ever since that game, and it was another good one. I thought, 30-27, you think that the defenses are lacking, but I was watching the game, and I just felt like maybe there was a little bit more of a pushback from the defense in this game. It seemed like they had to work for it a little bit more on offense, and they finally picked it up, and, USC pulls it out in the end.
Hey, I got to do a quick RIP to my man, Jermaine Taylor, though, man. We ain't going back to no NCAA 2014, man. I see you on the D-line, though, man. You my mans and all. Yeah, you know me. But we ain't going back.
No.
We ain't going back to no 2014.
Can't do that, baby.
We wouldn't even use like Madden 20 if we didn't have to, let alone going back 7 years.
Hey, but look, USC, man. I put player of the game was Ken Gossett, man. They were down 10-7, 28 seconds left to go in that first half. And boy, oh boy, man, he had a 55-yard bomb from Casares, man. That was an awesome catch right there. Really like that play there. Texas went up 14-10. USC, though, they get back into it. Seven plays, 70 yards. They go down. This game gets tied up 17-17, middle of the third. Texas responds. Eagles and Ferguson, man, boy, those guys, man, those guys are awesome, man. They end up going up 24 to Texas goes up 24-17. They have a 10-play drive, 75 yards. Ferguson with a touchdown there. And then, man, it gets really, really boring for about 13 minutes. You know what I'm saying? The game just gets really, really just dead, until the end. Texas ends up, tying up this game on the feet of Anthony Gonzalez, who had to have the slowest scramble in the history of slow scrambles, man. This man ran 22 yards, and he had to have ran it in 8 seconds, man, because it was just it was terrible, man. It was terrible scramble effort, but he slides into the end zone or whatever, gets the touchdown there. Defense of Texas just couldn't stop Jakari Torres. Rest in peace there. Torres, man, 25 of 125, 25 carries, 125 yards, 1 touchdown. Also, Dorian Cope was doing his thing here. I got a lot to say about, guys, so give me a second. Dorian Cope, 10 receptions, 150 yards there. Wolf had 8 receptions, 72 yards, it looks like. I highlighted Eagles, Baker, and Gossett. These guys didn't do enough damage, though. I'll give them highlights, though, because this season, this wide receiver core, this trio right here, man, these guys are awesome. For the defense, I have Farias, Fox, Eves. All these guys had between 9 and 11 tackles, so hats off to those guys. But just Casares with the better day here. USC had the better ground day, and it goes to USC in the long run. And I can't forget my man's too. Kenny Forrester, who's mad at me because I don't take pictures of him. 16 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. Rest in peace to Madden's replay options, because he had all them tackles and no pictures. And so hopefully EA can fix that. Rest in peace. Okay, good night.
Yeah, that's sad, man. 16 tackles, can't get 1 flick. That's I'd be salty too, man. That is crazy. But keep doing your thing out there, my guy. Keep doing your thing. Unfortunately, couldn't get the win there. USC with another win. This team's looking very impressive. The only loss was in week 1 against Alabama. They get the win once again, 30-27. Moving on to the next game, we had Georgia staying undefeated against their SEC conference rivals in Texas A&M. I don't know if it's necessarily too much of a rivalry because A&M hasn't been in the conference for too long, but Georgia is able to get it done with a final score of 31-17.
I was actually I expected Georgia to win. They're number 1 for a reason. But I was actually impressed with Texas A&M. I thought they did some good things in this game. I think they have better football ahead of them going into the rest of the season. But I mean, I expected Georgia to pull it out. They're number 1. They look like they're going to hold on to it for a bit longer yet. They're not ready to give it up, and they have a stacked team. They have a great team. So it was a big win for Georgia.
Yeah, salute to JTA, man. But I got to rest in peace to arcade mode, man. I think a lot of people thought that this would be a blowout in favor of Georgia for the most part. This was actually a weird game, man. It was 17-10 ball game at the end of the third quarter. But I don't know, man. It just didn't go the way we thought it would. We thought it would go, and you obviously you can't hold the dog down long here. They ended up scoring 14 points in the fourth quarter, and they just kind of pulled away from Texas. But Texas was just kind of like hanging on, man. You know what I'm saying? What I really like is the strength and the running ability of Cam Perkins. This guy is just so phenomenal, man. Just watching him, it was a great day for Kai Cash. But when he's able to lean on that back, Perkins, man, to help, pretty much that just helped break down the Aggies all the way down. A lot of the stretch plays. He had 18 carries, 138 yards, 1 touchdown. The honorable mention, though, I can't forget this guy. I must say, Tyler Simpson, man. Rest in peace to the secondary of Texas A&M, man. Tyler Simpson, what do you have? 13 receptions, 224 yards. Brock Melton as well, 7 receptions, 97 yards. TAMU, man, they had an awesome day with Anthony Fry. He had 8 receptions, 124 yards, 1 touchdown. Cardenas, I gotta say his name. Cardenas, he had his touchdown, 6 receptions, 51 yards, and Osborne had 4 receptions for 30 yards. And then I just had some names here: Hansford, Potter, Keesaw, Rubio, Baker, Daniels, Johnson, Rice, Walker. These are just great defensive performers from both sides mixed in. And so honorable mentions to those guys there.
All right, yeah, another win on the win column there for Georgia, and an upsetting loss there for Texas A&M. Still, like Bill said, expect some, I think, better football out of them. They're still performing pretty good against those top caliber teams. We'll have to see if JTA bounces back next week for those Aggies. Following this game, it was the final game. It was the primetime game. You called this one, Rob. Michigan State was undefeated coming into this one, but the U knew they had to get the win. They are trying to make sure they maintain in the playoff conversation as they are able to record their second win of the season to put their record up at 500 with a final score of 37-17. 23 over the Spartans.
Hey, man, is Amir in the chat right now? I don't know if he's in here, man. Let me say something, man. Like, I don't think I'm the only one, but ever since this dude got put into the starting lineup, man, I just feel like that Miami's got like some swagger back to him again or something. Like, he just gives the offense a little bit of pep in their step, man, and it's sort of radiating throughout the whole team. Like, the defense is stepping up, the secondary is playing better, offense is obviously running better. It's helping out White a whole bunch, having a guy like that in the backfield that can take pressure off the pass game. It showed through, and I think this is a sign of things to come rather than a fluke from the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, Miami just never looked. They just never looked back. They would just hit the gas from the moment they got on the field. They had that big interception, on the first, I think the first drive or whatever, and they just had full control of the game. In the third, MSU basically tried to pull back into it, but Miami and the defense just pretty much turned up on them. Ricky Vaughn, he was doing everything he could, man. But he threw that pick early, and he was unfazed by that pick. And he just kept on trying to get his guys into it. What was really crazy, man, was this is just a light day for DJ White, man. Like, this was the lightest day he's had as a quarterback. I think and he sported a 124.5 rating. He only threw 19 passes. He had connected on 17 of those, 184 yards, 1 touchdown. Rest in peace to MSU's run defense. Oh man, just to go off of what Amir Williams, what Bill said about Amir Williams, 2 80-yard rushes.
That's 2 back-to-back weeks, right?
Back-to-back.
2 back-to-back, 200 yards.
Yeah.
Rushing since starting.
The 80 and the 81-yarder. Rest in peace to the arcade mode, because if that was arcade. So I hate to say it, Amir, but maybe it was arcade, right? We'll see. 21 of 31, 3 touchdowns. This Amir Williams guy, man. It's only right he's on the A list of mine, man. He's looking to be one of the better players in the RFL College Series. With honorable mentions, man. Hats off to Cody White, 9 receptions, 93 yards. Ivanovsky, 6 receptions, 90 yards. Schmidt, 6 for 99. We had Stewart Jr. getting in the action, 5, 132 touchdowns, and Jones had 5 of 71 touchdowns. Bizot, the chef, the playmaker, he only had 3 receptions, 57 yards, but there is something too, man, about this kid, Zoe Sheffield, that I like. I think this guy has big play potential. I'm not going to say he can be a number 1 guy, but he's one of those sneaky slot guys, man. You got to watch out for, that can easily turn up the game in just a heartbeat. He's looking pretty good, man. As for the defense, I highlighted Trayvon Love and Hardy. And then I guess I just wrote all these guys' names down because I knew they would get on me. Metcalf II was killing. Silvera was killing. Yes. Best was killing. Gonzalez was killing. Park was killing. Thompson was killing. I won't say Thompson's name. He's going to be mad. I'm in now, Mitch. Mitch. Go ahead and say my name. Thompson. Packerman was doing his thing. Lito was doing his thing. All these guys, like, just watching that defense dominate is just scary. And it's just good to see, that team, do well and get this win here.
You know what's even
Metcalf
crazier with that?
4 sacks.
Yeah, he was going in. And even to that account of what you were saying, man, that this defense stepped up like that on arcade, I can only imagine, when it goes to sim, how tough it is going to be to throw the ball on this secondary and this move. Because, anytime that 4 sacks from one guy, that's going to be constant pressure from Miami. The biggest question, once again, becomes is how great is the U's offense officially? That's the big question. But, after coming off a 200 yards rushing game, I don't see too much of his game getting changed too much from the change. And so that's going to be the biggest thing that I'm looking for from the U next week. How good will Amir Williams perform? And I'll also throw DJ White in that conversation because, a lot of quarterbacks have been getting helped out tremendously from arcade. Now it's time to see, is he really that great of a quarterback or, was he getting that assistance? But great win for Miami. And this week, man, you'll see it when we get to the schedule. But they are going to have to be ready for this upcoming week, that's for sure.
Just to add something quick about Miami, man. I touched on this a couple weeks ago. And with us switching to sim now, which obviously is a good call. But, you just have to wonder, man, is those 2 games going to come back to bite them? Even just one of them, because we know how much one game means in the college series and in the RFL in general.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going to be interesting to see, man, if they're going to need some big wins and they're going to need I think they're going to need some help coming down the line, man. If some of these teams that are just humming right now, they got to catch up to them.
And they got the hardest schedule too, bro.
They do have a hard schedule. the other thing about that too, though, is that they lost on sim, and they lost a game on sim and a game on arcade, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
First
so
game was on
we
Sim.
yeah, first game was on sim, and they barely lost that to LSU. And then the next game they lost off that Fugazi. What was it? What happened at the? Yeah, that was crazy
It
at
was just
the end there.
completing everything. That was
Yeah,
arcade
right.
for the most
Yeah,
part, making
yeah, it's
plays.
finest. Yeah, so they definitely got shafted there. Sorry if I
Shafted.
can I say that word? I guess I can
Yeah, I
say
don't
that
think
word,
it's a
right?
bad word.
Okay,
Shout
cool.
out
So
before we go on
yeah.
and more. I want to give a shout out to the people who donated. I forgot to. We're so
Oh,
heavy into this. Shout out to the people who
yeah.
donated. I know Trojan Boy donated. I believe it was $10, and we got
Sweet.
Darius Hodge who gave 25 as well. That's
Okay.
definitely not going unnoticed, guys. Sorry we didn't mention it
Definitely.
as soon as it happened, but we're into it. So shout out to you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and right now, man, and like I say, man, through those games, it was only like 6 points that they lost by.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel that obviously it's the better move to go to the sim mode.
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be better to do sim. And we just agree on that period. Smitty, simply
Mm-hmm.
because we're into realistic gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
It's and I know why we started on arcade was because we wanted to get the back and forth play
Yeah.
between the college experience. But it's just hard to get that, man.
Yeah.
But what I'm gonna say is this though, man. If the tests are a sign of the realism here, then it's going to be very difficult to beat Miami.
Yeah.
And it should be, because as people say, players should play to their capability. So yeah, wide offense should definitely play more to its capability, but so should defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they play to their capability like the offense does, then Miami is definitely about to turn some heads, man, and move up the board. And I hope that they don't, like Bill said. I hope that the loss, and I'm gonna say one loss. I'm not gonna say the first one,
Yeah.
because I felt they lost fair and square to LSU.
Yeah.
But the second loss was on arcade, and so if they end up not making it because of one game, rest in peace to the arcade mode, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, we could sit here and talk about Miami all day. A lot to
Of
talk
course.
about there, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Wish we
yeah.
kind of had them a little bit into a topic, but I think they're going to be a huge topic after next week, that's for sure, for next week's podcast, if they can get a win this upcoming week. Moving on to the next game, Alabama able to bounce back after getting absolutely
Roll Tide.
demolished against Georgia. That was on Sim, but once again, just to talk a little bit on that, I mean, that's the big reason why we're going to Sim Pro and not Sim All Madden, because I think All Madden took that game to a whole nother level. But Bama able to show that they're still moving on to the next game, able to compete, and they took out a really good team here in West Virginia, able to beat them 31-17.
Sucks for West Virginia, man, because they have a good team. Leo, I know Leo's a big community guy, and he's always he's always trying to make sure his team's in the right spot, man. But Alabama had a point to prove
Yeah.
after last game, and they proved it. The one thing that stood out to me, man, is like Forrestal, the tight end. He's a tight end, right? Yeah, he had a huge day.
Yeah.
I know he had that sort of crazy touchdown at the end, but even with that thing, whether it's called in or out, West Virginia just couldn't get the ball moving after that. It was dead in the water for them. Alabama comes back. They proved that it was a fluke and that they're still Alabama. I can't wait to see them play again next week.
Yeah, man. I felt Alabama, man. I felt for them after that Georgia game, man. And and obviously, look, guys. And this is a good time to say this too, Smitty, man. Last year it took us 4 weeks to find out the correct sliders, and right now we're entering into the fifth week. So we're right on pace of where we should be with the sliders, especially given how many patches have been released for 21. Into 20. So, I understand, why we have to change the sliders back and forth, man. With that said, I'm happy that Bama was able to bounce back and get the win here. It's good that they won on simulation mode. That gives me some hope, and pray that they were not as bad on sim like they were against Georgia, man. But this doesn't say anything about West Virginia to me at all. The game just got away from Leo Moon. He had the 2 interceptions there. McCall with just a dominant performance, overall with the team. I just felt that, I do feel that what West Virginia still is of Georgia caliber that we saw in week 1. I believe it, I just think that they ran into Alabama, and Alabama was on a simulation as well this week, and I think that Alabama is actually
remember we finished out the week still on arcade. The whole week was still on arcade. So this game was in arcade.
Okay, so then because I thought you said that this was on sim.
No, the whole that was when I was showing the test games from it being on sim. Yeah.
So then West Virginia. So then that's what I was saying. I don't think that West Virginia is not good. I don't think this is reflective of them here. So with that said, man, Bama got Najee Harris working, and I was kind of shocked about that. With the 138 against West Virginia, they were able to spread the ball, very well against this team. Forrestal had 3 touchdowns on the day. And I felt that, Bama was like kind of curiously very consistent, through 4 quarters, 10-7, 7-7. And it just looked different, to me. I looked at West Virginia's wide receivers, and they looked pretty good. Olsen had 8 receptions, Lil Webby had 4, and then who was this? Dunn, Marcus. I think it's Marcus Dunn, I guess. He had
might be Mason.
A few catches, or Mason Dunn, yeah. And then and the other dude Davis. But it just didn't look like West Virginia, man, to me. And like I say, man, everybody plays on the same sliders and stuff. I get it, but this right here kind of just like, I'm like, man, that's not how West Virginia really should look. So I'm just hoping that next week it balances out the quarterbacks, and it gets those teams that should be playing well. It makes those teams play well, because I do think that West Virginia is a top tier team. I think they're as good as Georgia.
That's a big statement right there. West Virginia, I mean, they definitely got the talent at that quarterback position, and that's like the running game area, McCoy, man. All of that,
and the wide receivers, their wide receivers are pretty good too, man. Yeah.
A good bounce back win for Alabama. We'll have to see how they do back on sim next week, but a great win right there to be able to come back. Following game, we had Florida taking on Tennessee, a SEC matchup. Florida able to win their 3rd game straight, while Tennessee is still looking for their first victory, as the Gators were able to win it here 33-17.
Looked like Tennessee was sort of holding their own for me, man, for the most part. But 4th quarter, Florida just seemed to get a little extra juice, man, and they just put it out of reach. And Florida's just on a roll, man. Like, it was a good win for them. That's all I really got for this one.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. I don't want the Gators. I said I don't want the Gators to get high and mighty this week. Tennessee gave them a run for their money. Facts. The game was 17-17 at the half. The Vols were pretty much socking them back in the mouth as well. They were fighting against them. But rest in peace, man. The coach must have went in the locker room and played some Ric Flair at halftime, because these Gators came out, man, wheeling, dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a guns. And the Vols started having a hard time trying to keep those alligators down. So rest in peace. Let me get 2 claps and an RFL Ric Flair right now. Woo! Gators get it. Gators get it done, man. Game over.
Yeah, a great bounce back in the second half of play. Like you guys said, Tennessee held their own there in that first half, but still cannot hold on to a win. It was a great job by DeSalis, as you see him here in this picture. He had a phenomenal day on defense. Submitted prospect right there. I believe the guy's name is usually on YouTube called Jamie D. Jamie came up here with some pause, some good D. I'll say pause afterwards too, as he was able to stop Tennessee right there. So that was a great job by Florida to get that one. They've actually really came back pretty good too since that first upset loss to Washington State. Moving on to the next game, I'd say upset of the week. Utah, a team that looked pretty bad. I didn't think they were probably going to win a single game at all this season. Granted, it was still on arcade, so who knows? Let's see if they can keep this up. I actually had that as a discussion, as a topic to talk about here in this podcast, but I said, let me just let that pass. We'll just talk about it as this game comes up. But Utah able to get a huge upset over Oregon, and they win by 14 points. Final score 34-20.
Man, I got this down as the upset of the week for me, man. I did not expect this, man. I don't know what happened. Jada Juice, are you in the chat, man? What happened, man? Oh, just a tough day for the Ducks, man. But I think they'll bounce back, man. I don't think Utah has been a sleeper this whole time. I think Oregon just had a tough day, and everybody's got a tough day at the office, man. They got next week. They got 8 more weeks yet. I think they'll bounce back. But yeah, really a good win for Utah. They just things went their way, and definitely not for Oregon this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. OJ the Juice Man owns the day. 116 QBR, 25 of 38, 380 yards, 2 touchdowns. Honorable mentions go out to Kelvin Lewis, Martinez, and Stephon Harris. Man, big days for those guys. Just want to highlight Kelvin Lewis's 5 receptions, 153 yards, and Martinez's 6 receptions, 101 yards. And hats off to that guy Joey Mears out there, man. I see him from time to time in the chat and everything. He got his touchdown in, 3 receptions, 51 yards. And I want to highlight the linebacker. I think it's Glissick, is it? 13 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and 1 deflection for him. A great game right there, man. And OJ gets the win as he should have.
Yeah, and then I want to highlight Joseph Fontanez with a big game. Just, throwing darts out there. And he's been waiting for his first win, man. Still staying positive, even making little conference videos about his player, how he feels moving in week to week. This was a huge win. I felt the community were excited for him for this win, and well deserved. We'll have to see if he can keep this up though on Sim moving on from here on out. But a huge win right there. Nonetheless, that goes on the record sheet. Utah with, once again, when I say the upset of the week, got to give a RIP to Oregon for those fumbles, man. RIP to OJ the Juice Man. Hopefully he gets his juice back next week as well. Going on to the next game, this was a defensive game. Literally, the final score was 17-10. LSU still able to get the win, though. That marks their second straight after coming off of a loss in the week 2. But, this was some good old SEC defensive matchup here. This was a great one.
That's what I got down on my notes here, man, is tough loss for Ole Miss, and it was definitely a defensive game. Love me some defensive football, and this was probably one of the only ones this week that really seemed to encapsulate that fully. It sucks to see the clock management issue at the end for Ole Miss. Yeah. Never know what could have happened if maybe timeouts were called a little bit sooner or whatnot. But either way, I think they'll come back. Ole Miss has got a good team. Good win for LSU. They held on in the end, and it's just good seeing a defensive game. We haven't seen too many of those so far this year.
Yeah, man. Y'all know how I'm going to do, man. Go ahead and give me a RIP to clock management, man. This is just the most odd game of the week for me, man. A slow burn. I'm okay with slow burns, man, but this one really slow burned me. Not what I expected. It was too close, man. I like LSU. Y'all know I like LSU, but it feels like this team is just hanging around at this point, man. Ole Miss not looking like an A-list team, this year, obviously. Not nowhere near as hyped as LSU was with the Hurricanes coming into the offseason. I was expecting them to put up more points. I'm always expecting them to put up more points, but I was expecting them to destroy Ole Miss this week, and that just was not the case. LSU, to me, is just squeaking by, man. They squeaked by Miami. They squeaked by Tennessee. And now they just squeaked by Ole Miss in this game right here and died. And basically, the clock management is what makes this not a 17-17 game going into overtime. This is probably one of the most underperforming teams at 3-1 in the top 10. Not a diss to them at all. But other than, Bells and Braun and the wide receiver core, I'm just not seeing enough from LSU. Where are these mighty Tigers, man? What would Geno Gannon say about this team when he was putting up 40 plus a game last year? And this team here is just like so conservative, man. I hope that things change and everything, but man, oh man, I got to put a RIP in Death Valley right now because it's not looking good, man. These are not like these wins, this 3-1 stuff. It's okay, but it's not convincing me to the fact where I feel like LSU right now is a team to beat, to be careful of. And so with the new sliders coming into next week, obviously you got to have a cause for concern now, man. You got to ask yourself, okay, well, in week 1 it was on Sim and it was 16-13 against Miami. Mm-hmm. And then they come in and they just squeak by teams that they should have blown out on arcade. So now when it goes back to simulation, I'm a little bit worried whether or not they're going to be able to be as good with some of these other teams that we're seeing, man. So that's what I got right there, man. RIP in Death Valley right now, man. They get the win, but it wasn't a pretty one.
Let's see that in the chat, man. Yeah, it don't matter who you are, man. Anybody can get the bell if you deserve the bell. It don't matter.
Oh yeah, the bell is not biased.
Bell is ringing.
Play like you're supposed to.
Bell don't have feelings. It don't care. Well, but what I'll say is I feel you too on that statement with LSU. Granted, they still do have a lot of talent, but my biggest question mark has been the backfield with Xander Gold. He's definitely shown he's got the ability to break tackles, but he just doesn't have the speed. Now, one thing I will give him and one thing I will say about LSU is this right here. They got their first win against Miami in that 16-13 win. And in that game on Sim, that's when Xander Gold played his best. So if that's the case, maybe LSU plays pretty good. But like you said, they still squeaked by in that game and only put up 16 points. So does that mean that LSU, even though they might get a better production out of Xander Gold, is going to perform better and put up points and win games? I'm not sure, because right now they're squeaking away with a few wins. But when it comes to time to play in the playoffs, if they make it, it's still not guaranteed yet. It's only week 5 we're about to get into. If they get into the playoffs, you cannot afford to let up off the gas or struggle to get points, because whoever those other 3 teams that are going to make up this playoffs are not going to make it easy, and I guarantee you're going to be tough. They're going to be tough to beat. And looking at the teams who I think is going to be able to squeeze in there, who are dominating right now, is definitely 2 teams that come to mind at number 1 and number 2, and that's Georgia and Auburn. And if they play like this against those guys, I don't see how they're going to win.
They get bells for different reasons.
Yeah, there's a couple of good points in the chat. They're saying, well, maybe they're a defensive team. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, their defense is good.
I think it's good, but is it you think it's perennial? Like the other defenses in the league, or do you think it's just
looking at LSU's defense? I do think it's perennial. I think that
he's not saying this because he's an LSU fan.
I'm not even an LSU fan. My 2 favorite schools in college is Maryland and North Carolina. So I don't even, none of my schools are even in this series, which I'm salty about. But LSU, man, that defense I think is elite. The issue is I kind of feel like the reason why maybe they didn't win games by enough points during the arcade is because it was on arcade, and so their defensive backs I feel were getting beat on a lot of jump ball situations because arcade catered to the receivers making those plays. And so
why you think it didn't turn up Braun though? That's my thing. Why would it turn up Braun?
Braun did get turned up.
Not in this game.
Not in this game. Now, this was just one of those games, but this is one game. That's the way I'm looking at it. This was one game. You look at the rest of the games, like, even though, like, okay, he didn't perform in this one, the guy had 200 straight receiving yard games, though, before this. And 100 yards in the first week against Miami's defense. Didn't get in the end zone, which they pride themselves on. But the dude still was absolutely eating on arcade. Now, Now, with that being said, that proves my other point about LSU is that, as much as I feel arcade may have made it close for LSU to compete and barely squeak away with wins, maybe I could say the same thing for their offense, because if it wasn't for Chris Braun making those big receptions and those receivers getting blessed with a lot of those big catches, which I still think they will be able to make most of those plays, but not as much as they were, maybe, they don't put up as much points as they do. Maybe their offense, especially with the run game moving the way it is, so I don't know what I got that same feeling with LSU, man. I just feel like they have to prove that they are an elite team and ready for the playoffs for a second consecutive year in the RFL College Series. I think John Bales has been playing good and everything, but the rest of this team, I think they're playing good, but it just I can't really explain it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to explain because I think they're playing good. They have the talent, but they're just not looking like a top tier team, in my opinion. That's all.
I'm just a little worried. I'm a little worried right now.
Yeah, I'm a little worried too, man.
I'm just a little upset, man, that, like, I was all excited to watch Xander Gold after week 1. And I just haven't really seen that at all anymore, man. Like, it's just gone.
And that's why I said look forward to the Sim, because he played his best on that. So who knows?
Yeah, and if Sim is going to make him a better player, man, I really hope that happens, because I really do like, the running, the style of halfback, that he is. And I like that they just, man, y'all know I love some dive, man. What I'm saying? Y'all saw me last year with Locker, man, the dive. I'm going to dive all the way through, so I love dive, man. So hopefully, they can pick up that running game and get him going.
Because I think that's what they're missing, man. Like,
if
they
had that, that's over.
And then you got Braun over the top. Like, that's just perfect for Bales.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll move on
let's
to
stop talking about
yeah,
defense
we
now,
definitely
for
went
sure.
in on this. Let's move on to the final game that also competed with game of the year in this very same week, man. This game was full of excitement. The minute it started all the way till the minute it ended, we expected it to be that way. We saw an all-out brawl where it was just straight out war all 4 quarters. I don't even know if we're going to get bells at all here in this one. Maybe a little bit for the defense because of the amount of points scored. But, man, Oklahoma, Daryl Johnson, Tyler Mull, I mean, those dudes went at it. And, I mean, a lot of points on the board. But Oklahoma couldn't get it done at home. They were the number 4 team, took a loss here to the number 16. Baylor gets it done 45-40.
Defense definitely did not in the bus the game at all for either side, it seemed. But it was a crazy game, man. So many points put up, exciting to watch. Somebody had to take it home, man, and Baylor did it. You know, it just seemed like whoever had the ball last was going to be the winner, and it just ended up being Baylor tonight. The only thing I wanted to point out, man, and I know we had a couple guys with some big stat lines, but Winkleman had a game.
Crazy.
Winkleman had 250 from 4 yards or 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Man, that was
Speed
crazy.
demon.
But just a great game for Baylor, man. And this is something I expected out of them. And we know what happened, man. Baylor got announced as going to be the RFL College Series team at the last minute, and everybody just jumped ship to go to Baylor.
Yeah.
All of the transfers from the last 3 months went out the window, and everybody's putting Baylor in. And, you know, this is the kind of product you're going to get out of a team that's just stacked with prospects.
Yeah.
Yeah, heavyweight match, man. Definitely candidate for game of the year. You know, I like the Auburn Javon Warren game, man, as well. But you know, great game, man. Baylor, you know, just really showing me a lot about who they are. You know, but man, I do got to rest in peace, man. OU's defense, though, man. 6 touchdowns given up to Mo.
Yeah.
We're not gonna rest in peace. You got to give him the bell there, man.
I'll hit it again. I'll hit it again.
Yeah. As you guys said, Winkleman, man, hats off to that guy. The deep ball flourished. Man, I got to give an honorable mention to this guy, man. That guy, Jacob Reed, man, Jr. This guy is like RoboCop out there, man. He's just like the perfect straight linebacker, just, you know, built to perfection. This guy, man, I see him running. He's just, you know, he ain't got no swag or anything on him. He's just out there and everything's just matching with his gear, and he's just hitting holes and making tackles. And he got 11 tackles, man. 4 tackles for a loss, 1 sack, and 2 forced fumbles in the game, man. He was all over the place, a maniac, man. So I'm still trying to come up with a name for him. Right now I'm calling him RoboCop because he was just everywhere, you know, killing everybody, man. But we're going to see, man. We're going to see about this guy right there, man. As always, bad news Bears, man. They did their thing, man. 40 points, though. That's a lot of points, man. Rest in peace to that. But we're gonna see next week, man, as we go to simulation mode. You know, how many teams start putting up this many points, man, against the better defenses. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even maybe limit that bell to just like the secondary, because I feel like didn't Baylor like completely shut down the run game of Oklahoma?
Yeah, I think the starting back,
yeah.
Trey Sermon, had like 13 carries for negative 10 yards. So he got absolutely destroyed. And I think that's where the bad news Bears defense definitely showed up. And Jacob Reed was killing it in the run game, shutting down everything. I think, man, underlining play in that game that I think really sealed it early on, I think late in the 4th, was when Oklahoma got the safety. They had that possession to drive down the field to try to win the game. And it was on a 3rd down, and they tried to run the end-around play or sweep. I can't remember what it was, but I know it was a run to the right side to the outside. And the way Jacob Reed hit the hole to make that tackle in the backfield was just incredible. And I think that was the play that sealed it for him, because Baylor still had the lead. Oklahoma had to punt it away, and then Baylor was able to go down the field and score to go back up by 2 possessions. And I think that was the underlying big play of the game. I got to give a RIP, though, to Oklahoma's hands team, though. I got to give a RIP to the hands team, because how do you have everything set up to win? The onside kick was perfect. Bounces right off the dude's head while he went to dive. Your hands man is right there looking at the ball. It's coming in his direction. It's going towards Oklahoma. and the dude turns into FIFA and kicks the ball back to the Bears. R.I.P. to that man. Who was that?
Like
I have to
the
check.
Falcons player from the last week, I think it was.
We have to check
crazy.
to see who that was, man. But R.I.P. to him, whoever it was, because that was the game. I think if Oklahoma recovered that, they would have won. They would have definitely won. I just feel like the momentum was there. I mean, you got an onside kick. That ultimately amplifies the momentum you get. They would have won that one right there. But phenomenal performance from everyone there. Definitely got to give a shout out to Daryl Johnson. Dude continues to kill it every week. Only mistake he made in that game was that fumble early on in the second possession after the defense was able to get him the ball back. But other than that, dude was killing it. Like he put everything on the line.
Hey, Smitty, I got one more thing to say, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if the game mode was on flag football. Rest in peace to the arcade.
I just can't wait for that, man. I'm so excited because I know that everybody, even guys with me here, I just think that we haven't really been able to see some of these defensive guys really show. And I think that hopefully now with the new sets, we'll be able to finally see some of these guys, defensive players, stand out, and some of these defensive units know what they're really made of now. So I'm excited for this.
And to add on to that like everyone knows why we moved to arcade in the first place. Yeah. It's hard to simulate college football on a pro game. It's just extremely hard to do. But one thing I will say,
arcade is great.
Yeah, it's definitely not like we thought. We already had a hunch of this when we did the College Series Bowl. How the defense just was not a factor. We knew it affected the defense. I kind of recanted on that because I thought I found a way to combat that with the sliders, but it never ended up being the case. I didn't even know that they were forcing pretty much the players to drop picks until like it started becoming a thing. And so and then you started looking at the rest of the gameplay and seeing how it's like no penalties. So now you get to see who's really disciplined. That's going to help me out when it comes to ratings. You got the quarterbacks completing everything. Now we get to know who's actually a great quarterback build and who's not, because this arcade was saving quarterbacks. I'm telling you right now, they're saving quarterbacks. But the reason why I got so much faith even in this sim now, and the main reason why I left sim in the first place, it wasn't necessarily only because of the point. It wasn't necessarily only because of the points that arcade could get. It was because I felt there was a lack of points that sim was giving us. But after I realized I wasn't testing on a lower difficulty to where the teams can have some errors for the offense to be able to make some plays. And when I was able to finally really test more games on Sim Pro, I was able to see teams still put up just about the same amount of points that we were getting from arcade and the gameplay realistic. That's exactly what we were looking for. So we might actually still be able to get college-like play with realistic gameplay. So that's why I'm extremely excited about this new set, man. I just can't wait to see how it goes. I'm still going to be just testing games to make sure it's playing out like how I've seen it. But, I mean, it looked great, man. Not a single game disappointed me once I made that change, and I hope it doesn't do that. I mean, we're sticking to it, though. We're not going back to arcade, guys. I'm sorry. I don't care what nobody says. We're not going back to arcade. We're sticking here to sim. That's it. RIP to arcade, like Rod's been saying here tonight. And, yeah, we're not going back. So, sim it is.
Get out of here, coach.
So that's it for the game recaps, and now it's time to get a look at the new top 25 rankings in the RFL College Series. Let's go ahead and get a look at this.
I just got some bubble guts.
So at number 1, we still got Georgia. At number 2, we still got Auburn. Alabama moves up to number 3 as Baylor moves up, taking Oklahoma's spot after the win up to number 4. USC moves to 5, LSU to 6. Michigan State dropping down to 7, Florida up to 8, Oklahoma State to 9, Minnesota up to 10, Florida State up to 11. You got Oklahoma falling to 12, Clemson moving up to 13, finally getting up in those rankings now. Got Miami moving up, they went to 14. You got West Virginia to 15, UCLA 16, Wisconsin 17, Michigan 18, Texas A&M 19, Penn State 20, Washington State still in the rankings here, 21. Ohio State, 22. Notre Dame, 23. Texas, 24. And Ole Miss, 25, even after the 17-10 loss due to just the records. That was the best available team that I saw. So, thoughts on this new top 25 heading into Week 5?
That's it.
That's it. That's it, Bill.
All right.
I think Wisconsin should be at 17, man.
You don't think they should? Would you think they should be lower? I agree with you.
I think they should be lower. They should be higher.
Okay.
But in all seriousness, the only thing I might change, man, I think, I don't know, man. I think that's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I just don't like Wisconsin being so low.
Of course.
Yeah, I like it, man. I don't have any problem with it. I'm really only looking at the top, really the top 20 right now. But yeah, I think it looks good, man. I do want to point this out though, man. Is Georgia the longest #1 team that we've ever had in the last 2 years?
No, I forgot who it was that was #1 for a minute. I think it was Florida that was #1 for a grip. If I'm not mistaken, honestly, we'll have to go back to look at that. Actually, it was Clemson because once they took the lead, they never looked back, and they only lost one game the entire season that year.
Is this the third week? Is this the third week for Georgia that they've
They had it since they had it since week 2 after they beat LSU in the first game. No, not LSU. After they beat Clemson in the first game. So, yeah, they've had it for 3 weeks now.
Yeah, yeah, man. I like it. I have no quarrels with this at all.
Yeah,
I think this is really funny.
Mhm.
Wasn't this like time last year? Wasn't Washington like #1 for a while?
Yeah, it was Washington, man.
Now they're not even on the top 25 anymore.
Not even,
It's
not
like,
the same team.
It's
It's a wrap
gone.
now.
Hey, they got their recipes right there. But Washington,
Shout out to my boy LeCavalier,
they
man.
got their first win at least this past week though against UCLA. But we'll have to see if that continues on Sim. But yeah, they're definitely not the same team at all that they were last year. But yeah, I don't think there's really too much to talk about with this ranking. I think now the records are really starting to speak for themselves. People already see who lost to who, and I think it just is mapping itself out nicely right here with the teams who deserve to be at the spot that they are. Other than, of course, Bill complaining about those Badgers, which, I don't know why you think, Bill, but they're not going to be in the playoffs, man. Not going to be in the playoffs.
I don't know what your deal is right now. I'm about to get on a plane.
Not going to be in the playoffs. If they go to a bowl game, they're not going to win that. So.
Oh yeah, Smitty. Well, where's your team?
All
in
love,
this
all
RFL
love.
college series?
They're not in it. They're too great.
Oh,
man.
yeah,
They said
okay.
they're not in it. Let's be honest here, though. If Maryland was a part of this college series, you can't tell me that almost everyone would have loved to commit to that school. That school has the best unis hands down out of any college. It don't matter. It doesn't matter.
They got to be a top 20.
I guarantee you, they would be top. They would be a top team because they look because how great the unis are. I bet you everyone would have committed there. Everyone would have committed to Maryland, man. I'm telling you, if somebody in this college series did not want to go to Maryland to rock those unis, yeah, you can't.
Fresh unis,
can't hate on. You can't hate on Maryland.
I'm just saying, just because you got a flag on your helmet doesn't make you a good team.
Nah, man.
Nah, but I'm saying in real life it doesn't make you a good team. But in this college series, it would have made them a great team because everyone would have committed there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we
everyone would have went to that team.
Yo, we about to go to Sim, man. We gotta change that W to an L on the Wisconsin.
Ain't no way, man.
Wisconsin, the less talented team. Wisconsin.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait till next week Wisconsin wins again, and then I could come on here.
On Sim, you guys have the least chance of winning, though. We'll see, man. Speaking of next week, let's go ahead and get a look at next week, man, and see who the Badgers are actually going to be playing. We won't skip to that game. We already know what the results is going to be. They're not going to win.
Hey, Mitchie finally showed up.
But first game of week 5 starting tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. We got Penn State taking on Michigan. That's a big game right there. Who you guys got winning that one?
I'll take Michigan at home.
Michigan.
I want to say Michigan at home if Poli controls the rock, man. He hasn't looked good, man. He's not doing a good job. And I think he has to control the rock, and they got to get that ball to Sandstrom, man. They got to get that guy running. Not these weird. They've been doing these weird stretch plays to the outside, and he's getting caught, man. In the flats. They got to start running some more dives, man. Attacking the D line, and getting some good run blocking up there. But if Poli can conserve the rock, and Sandstrom can get going, man, they'll get these wide receivers going, because those wide receivers, man, they're a big deal when the running game is flourishing.
Yeah. And my prediction in this, what's something that's interesting? I don't think Penn State played a single game on Sim. So I don't know what we're going to get from Penn State.
Gonna get out of
No idea what we're going to get out of them.
Ramos,
So
man. I love you, Ramos.
Yeah, R.I.P. Because we saw, and honestly, I don't think we saw Michigan play a game on sim. I think their first game was on arcade as well. So yeah, so this is
13 first game.
And who they play again?
They played Iowa, was it?
Yeah, their game wasn't on sim then. I don't think there was. No, because it was halfway. I'm not sure, but we'll have to see. This is a toss up. I don't know who's going to win. I'm actually.
I was worried that Michigan, because they only put up 13 the last 2 weeks total on arcade.
Yeah, and I was just thought that they had to play like.
That's really Wisconsin. Come on, Bill.
Do not gas them dudes up like that, man.
Yeah, I was a little worried, man. But I just think that once they can get the running game going, man, I think that's going to happen on the Pro Sim. Yeah. The Sandstrom is about to become a little bit of a problem, man. I think that's going to allow them to get those targets that Hodge has been looking for. And I think that they will be. And they got to be better in the red zone too, man. I mean, 1 of 6 is not going to be good, man. Last 2 weeks, but they were red hot the first 2 weeks. So like that. Matter of fact, the first 2 weeks, guys. I think I remember this stat. They were 17 for 17 in the red zone. Crazy. They were in the red zone. I think 11. Was it 11 times? 11 for 11, I think, or something like that. Or no, was that? Yeah, I don't know. I think it was like 17, man, in times in the red. 17 for 17, and in the last 2 weeks it just got crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm gonna take Michigan in that one. I think they get it done there at home. Yeah. Next game, Ohio State taking on Minnesota. Minnesota's been looking good. They're on a 3-game winning streak, I think it is. But Minnesota, that was on arcade. So now we on sim. They playing Ohio State, who was able to beat Oklahoma on sim. So who you guys got winning this one? I'm gonna go with Ohio State.
Oh, Ohio State just isn't the team that they were last year, man. I don't even know if Sim's gonna change that. I'm rolling with Minnesota on this one.
Yeah, I really don't even know, man. I just stopped following Ohio State this year, man. I was following them big time last year. I like that. I got behind Parker Thomas earlier, and obviously Drew Brewer. I really don't. This is a toss up for me, man. I'm just gonna any, mini, miny, mow it right now, and I'll just go ahead and say Minnesota at home because they're higher ranked.
Yeah, I already gave my prediction, but I kind of feel like Ohio State, what they win 23 to 16 against Oklahoma, right? I think that's 17 against Oklahoma. I actually feel like they might actually play better on sim. So I really feel like they might be able to bring it there to Minnesota. We'll have to see. The next game, this is a big game that we were talking about, man. Can Amir Williams, can DJ White still perform like they did the past 2 weeks against Clemson, who's on a 2-game winning streak? They're 1 ranking ahead of them at 13. Miami moving up to 14. A loss here could be crucial for either team, but one team's got a loss. Who do you guys think is going to win this one?
Gotta roll with the U, man. I don't know. I think they got some mojo now. Lito, I know you're in this chat. I want 2 picks.
Yeah, man. You gotta roll with the U, man. I don't know, man, what this is gonna do to Fecky, man. What do you think this is gonna do to Fecky, Smitty?
I feel like Fecky is still gonna be somewhat close to similar as he's played on arcade, except of course with the not so high QBR. But I do feel like he's still gonna be a threat scrambling, and I do feel like he's going to be pretty decent when it comes to throwing the football. But the biggest thing on why I'm kind of big on Clemson for this matchup is I think Marlon Marshall is going to be able to eat a little bit on the going back to sim. That's going to be tough. But once again, I'm talking about him playing better, but Miami's defense is going to play better. So this is why it's so hard, because Fecky, I think it's going to come down to Fecky. If he has a good game, right, against this defense without throwing picks, then I think that Clemson can win. But if I had to choose, I'm probably going to take Miami because of the defense improvement.
So I guess I could say that Fecky somewhat has survived the sliders. Was he on sim the first week?
Who did he play again?
Georgia.
No, that was on arcade. So they never played in a sim game. Yeah.
So then I can't even say what I wanted to say then, man. 31-38 Georgia. They put up that many points on them. Auburn, he put up 22 and 24. That was arcade, and yeah, all these rest of these are arcade. So then it's 29-16 against Baylor. That's on arcade here, and then week 4 here, 44-13 against Washington State. I don't know, man. I don't think he can do it against this Miami team, man. You know, I don't. Look, if Fecky's on his day, like you said, they might have a chance here. But I think that Miami's going to get to him early and often, man. I got to go with the U.
Yeah, I guess all three of us going there with Miami there. Big win for them if they can get it. It's a big win for both teams. Both teams coming in there 2-2. Somebody's got to win and still push for that playoff spot. The following game.
I think honestly, man, just real quick about Miami. I touched on this before with the game. I think this is a must-win. Like they have to win this game.
It's a must-win for both. It's a must-win for both.
I feel like the rest of their schedule is a must-win. Like they gotta win out to ensure that they get to where they want to go, man. So all the pressure's on them right now.
And to add on to this is a conference game. You know, there's only 4 teams that make up the ACC in this college series. So pretty much the winner of this is most likely going to be the guy. They might play each other again for the conference championship game, to be honest.
Either one of these teams, really, man. Like Clemson is no joke. Like I know we're talking big about Miami, but I'm not saying that Clemson's not a good team. Clemson's a great team.
Yeah, of course.
It's just Miami's got so many prospects, man. And if this sim changes it to like where all those defensive guys that are all juiced up start playing better, they're going to be a scary team come later in the weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it like a curved. It's kind of like a nerfed offense versus the defense performing better, man. And so you're looking at that on a slider scale, it favors Miami.
Man. You got Baylor taking on Washington State. For me, this is a no-brainer. I think that Washington State had that impressive upset win over Florida. And if I'm not mistaken, that was on arcade. Yeah. So now they're playing against Baylor, a team that just beat Oklahoma in a high-scoring game. And I think they're going to shut it down. I got Baylor in this one.
Yeah. Bill, I'm just going to jump in real quick, Bill. Baylor's defense has been consistent, man. I think that they got this game.
Yeah.
I don't even have to mention it. Baylor's going to win this one.
All right.
Hartfield's stuff went out the window. It's done with. They had their nice little start to the season, but they like you said, I think before Smitty, they fell back to earth, man. Baylor's going to.
Yeah, so let's move on to the next game then. That's over and done with. We got Oklahoma State taking on Iowa. Iowa still looking for their first win. I don't think they're going to get it here. Oklahoma State's look pretty good. I think they get the win here.
Yeah, OSU's got this one.
Yeah, I don't want to give up on Peterson and Markman just yet, man. I want to see what they can do. Both of them have obviously the ability to run. So I want to see what's going on. I do think that Oklahoma State is going to get it, but I'm not just looking at the top teams. I want to see what some of these teams who have already, they're 0-3 and stuff like that, 1-3 or whatever, 0-4, whatever. I want to see what these teams are, how they're going to be affected. If these teams are now going to be, maybe competing because maybe their defenses are actually pretty good. So this should be a very interesting game here. But I will go ahead and give the respect to Oklahoma State and say that they'll get the win here.
Yeah, we got Texas versus Nebraska. Nebraska, had the big upset over Michigan once again on arcade, but they've lost every single game, and they're playing Texas. Texas on sim got blew out by UCLA 52-0. We're never going to forget that. But they got the home field advantage here. They are back in the top 25 rankings at 24. I'm going with Texas. Who you guys going with?
Yeah, this is a toss-up for me, man. I think I'm just going to give the nod to Texas because they got the home field advantage.
Oh man, it's the sliders, man. These sliders, bro. I like what what I'm gonna go with my gut here, man. Who is it? Is it Gossett, Baker, and Eagles?
Mm-hmm.
Are those the receivers for Texas?
Yep.
Yeah, man. Might be a route. Texas.
Shout out to Darius Hodge for the $20 donation. Appreciate that, my guy. 2 times donating tonight. That's what I'm talking about.
Cashing us out here tonight, man.
Sure you save those ones for the club later.
Offense, he says so. No offense. He's questioning whether an offense will be able to play against Miami, man.
Well, against Miami, you know what? We're going to hold those questions to the end when we of course save that for the end. So hold on to that question. Stick around. We'll definitely get to that. Moving on to the next game, we've got Tennessee and Florida State. Tennessee still looking for their first win. On Sim, Florida State got blew out by Wisconsin. I think it was 48-6 by West Virginia. Excuse me. I think 48-6. So once again, one of those toss-ups. Do you think Tennessee is going to get their first win? I don't know who to go with here. Let me hear you guys' predictions, then I'll think of something.
Hey, Bill, let me go ahead and drop this in. Look, man, we got to get back to football, man. You know, like tradition, man. Florida State should not be out here like this, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just looking for Florida State to roll over on these boys, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Tradition.
I feel the same, man.
Well, let's be if we bring it up real life football in terms of Florida State.
Yeah,
I know Florida State fans aren't going to like this, but Florida State has not been good for a minute. Yeah. So they are not that great of a team.
Florida State, though, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like you expect them to, you know.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But you look at Tennessee.
Tennessee. In reference to, but don't worry, Mr. Pat. I'll always keep talking.
And Tennessee, that's another school that hasn't been all too great over the past few years, but they still are pretty decent. But if I had to choose here in this one, I do think Florida State's going to get the win. So I think it's going to be close, but I think Florida State's going to get the win there. Moving on to the next game, Notre Dame versus Wisconsin. It's Notre Dame all day. Who you guys got?
Oh, my God.
RP to Wisconsin in this one, man.
Being ridiculous.
Jesus Christ.
Bill. Notre Dame. No doubt.
Do it.
Notre
You know
Dame.
what?
Alex Jackson all over these Badgers. About to take them and go out back to 22 and just start shooting Badgers, man. That's
If I'm not mistaken, Notre Dame won their first game on Sim. And who did they play?
Notre Dame, who did they play? I said Notre Dame. Take my head.
They're going to be Notre Dame after Wisconsin's done with them.
Let's see. Who did Notre Dame play their first game, man? Notre Dame. Oh, man.
Iowa.
I can't see it here. Iowa. Okay, you got it. Yeah.
Okay,
32-13. That was on Sim or arcade?
I can't remember when that was played. If it was early on, then it was on Sim. If not, I'm not quite sure on that one. But it's Notre Dame all day, no question, man. So it doesn't even matter. But we'll see if those Badgers try to shock the world. But
Shock the world?
That's not going to happen.
Look at that ranking.
Yeah,
they're
higher.
Higher than Notre Dame.
It's pretty good when you're on arcade, you know. And, it's Notre Dame though. And who they got in the backfield back there?
What you talking about? You talking about Wisconsin?
I'm talking about Notre Dame. Y'all got Duncan's all right, but like Notre Dame's running back is cold too.
Notre Dame. Yeah. Fenimore.
Fenimore had 200 yards, the first 200-yard rusher of the college series in the first week. So if y'all think y'all got a tough running game, so does them Golden Helmet boys. They about to go in, man.
And he's cold when you start stopping the run, man. He's cold with the receiving as well, man.
Oh yeah,
I'm
definitely.
gonna be eating your words next week, man. I can't wait.
We'll see. If that happens, I'm just gonna make sure I'm on mute during the whole podcast when we talk about this session. I'm gonna just leave it up to you to cover that one. But I'm going on to the next game. We got Utah taking on USC, man. After a big win and upset against Oregon, granted it was on arcade, they play a tough team in UCLA who was still tough to beat on Sim and arcade. They lost to, I believe, Alabama in the first game, 20-9, but they still was able to pretty much shut down Alabama's offense with their defense. So their defense is still going to be great. Do you think Utah will be able to do anything against the Trojans? I don't think so. I'm going with USC in this one.
Oh, should I do it?
Yeah.
Should I do it?
Do it.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna take Utah. I want to see Utah do it.
Oh, R.I.P. to Bill's prediction.
Upset of the season.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
What's your reasoning behind this?
Bill, we're gonna check your temperature, man.
What's your reasoning behind this? You just wanted to do it, or you got a legitimate reason on why you think Utah's gonna win? I said, did you just want to pick them just because? Or
they're rolling high right now, man. They got their first win. They got all this juice. I think if they got something, they're gonna do it.
There's no momentum, Bill.
Clearly, he's associating the U with upset in this out of this right here, man.
No, not at all.
I don't know.
Somebody's got to do it, all right? Somebody's got to pick the underdog.
Well, it wasn't going to be me.
The underdog.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen, man. Is it Gonzalez?
Yeah.
Gonzalez is gonna come out here, man, and pull out that Ferrari known as Jacari Torres, man. And that guy might have 200 yards on these boys, man. I'm trying to tell you.
You can rhyme as many times as you want. Sean's taking it.
I'm telling you, man. He might have about 200 yards on you. 225, man. Go ahead, put it on him. Go ahead, put your bets on USC, guys. I'm telling you.
All right, so 2 for USC, 1 for Utah. Next game, we got UCLA versus West Virginia. I think West Virginia is going to be back, but UCLA, once again, reminder, beat Texas in the first game on Sim and shut them out 52-0. So these are two teams I think are going to be at their absolute best, and they both performed in week 1 excellent, and they both played on Sim. So I don't even know. I want to hear you guys' predictions. Who are you guys going with?
This is tough, man. I'm gonna roll with West Virginia, man. They're at home. Believe in Leo Moon. I think they bounce back. I think they get it this week.
Okay.
Man, I love you, Leo. I love West Virginia, man. You guys are awesome. I still think you guys are a top team. If what the commissioner is saying about the sliders, man, if it caters to the defense, man, look. Trey Simeons, DeForest King, Don Dang, Prince Potter, Jason Alexander, Jacoby Jose, Juice Adams III, Willie Nelly, Jose Ortiz. Look, man, I think these guys are about to turn up. That's all I'm gonna say about that, man. So I will see. We're gonna see. This might be a high scoring affair, man. And we'll see if that guy King out there starts to get more targets. And then we're not even talking about the halfback on Holman, man. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see who's who and what's what on these new sliders.
And another thing to kind of take away from the aspect of the dominance is I think what the problem was the first Sim week was on Sim, but all Madden, just like it was when the blowout happened with Georgia and Alabama. So I honestly do feel like the one-sided affairs and that happening came from it being on all Madden Sim. So now that it's on Pro and it's more, it's not just a completely one-sided affair, I do think, maybe we can take with a grain of salt what the results were the first time they played. And I think it is going to be a more back-and-forth game. And with that being said, I'm going to go with the team who's got the most commits in this one that are, balling. So I'm going to go with UCLA for the win. Next game, SEC matchup, Florida and Auburn, number 2 versus number 8. Florida's been looking good, man. Who you guys got winning this one? And granted, Florida took their only loss against Washington State. It was an upset, but they lost that one on arcade. So they never played a sim game. What do you guys think?
This is another tough one, man, because Auburn is really good. Florida has been really good too. You know what? I'm gonna go Auburn. I think Auburn is gonna. They're number 2 for a reason. Even if it's arcade, I think they'll get the win here in Florida.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm gonna go ahead and I really like what Warren did last week. Really like what Christian Williams is doing out there, and JP. Obviously, those guys are looking pretty good, man. But man, this Florida defense, man, they've got some guys, man. And I like the running game, man. I feel like I like Archibaldo Nino. I really like Trevor Campbell. I like Burrowman, the tight end. And I like that linebacker out there, Jamie DeSalis, man. So now, obviously, we got to keep questioning with the slider thing here, man. But if Florida comes out, man, like the team I think they can be, man, and I think they're going to edge this win out here. But I do look for this to be some kind of a shootout because Auburn does put up points in a hurry, man. That guy Warren, he'll just run all over you. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Auburn here, and they were the only team that I saw on Sim. They blew out, I believe it was Nebraska, and granted they should have blew out Nebraska because they worst team currently, one of the worst teams currently in the college series. They beat them 30-0, and that was on Sim. So, and they looked extremely good. So I'm going to say Auburn in this one. Moving on to the next SEC matchup, we got Alabama taking on Ole Miss. I'm going to go with the Crimson Tide here in this one.
Yeah, I got to roll with Bama on this one.
Man, you already know what I'm gonna say, man. Roll Tide.
So 3 road
Big
ties
shout out
for
to
the number
Kiata
3
and
Alabama.
Kiata Sincere and what's my boy Penn Majors out there, um, for Ole Miss, man. Salute to you guys, man. But yeah, Roll Tide, man.
All right, the next game, Texas A&M versus Mississippi State. Texas A&M played on Sim Sliders, and it was for one of the worst games in Week 1 against Tennessee, where they won 16-9. So they had some struggles putting up points. Once again, though, that was on all Madden and not Pro. But I do think Texas A&M is going to get the win.
Same here, man. I like Texas A&M. I said it, even though they lost last week. I like them. I think they'll get the win over Mississippi State.
Yeah, I'm just gonna come with a different angle here, man. I just think the better team with the better uniform is gonna win this game, man. Rest in peace to you having to call that game, man. With this white and maroon here. I'm glad I don't have that game.
Yeah, they are about the same. So the uniforms are going to be.
My eyes be messing up with that, man.
But at least I'll know.
Whoever's
Whoever's going
and
to.
Aggies Bulldogs. We all confused.
Yeah, whoever's walking away though is just I'll be able to tell. So that's going to be no problem. I think it's going to be no problem for Texas A&M winning that one. 2 unranked teams here in this one going at it. Oregon, after a tough loss to Utah, once again on Arcade. I don't think Oregon's played a single game either on Sim. So they haven't played a single game on Sim. I'm not sure about Washington. But if I had to pick and choose, I'm going to go with Oregon. Who you guys got?
Yeah, Oregon, man. Jada Juice Man's going to bring them back this week.
So you guys can look at the logos right there, man. You got 2 words right there. You got WO, W-O, and you got OW, O-W. So OJ the Juice Man puts up 450 yards passing a 4-touchdown day against Washington, man. Whoa, that's what's gonna happen. Al, if Ryan LeCavalier, gets 9 to 10 receptions, man, I think that Washington gets it done, man. So if they can slow down LeCavalier, Oregon gets it. But if Juice Man comes out there flaming at home, man, might be a long day for Washington.
I think it's just going to be an owl for Washington taking that L, man. And no shade to the Washington players of the community. And the final game, the game of the week, another big one, man. Georgia versus LSU, number 1 versus number 6 SEC matchup to close it out. Definitely game of the week. Who you guys got winning this one?
And I gotta go Georgia. They've just been like, it seems like just like to bully people. Like this is a big game for LSU, man. Like we all talked about this before with them. What kind of team are they? LSU, what are they? You know, and this is the game they're gonna have to show us that they got to do something better on offense, especially if they want to try to knock Georgia down from the number 1 spot. I just think Georgia is gonna roll over them, to be honest.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, man. You got these dogs out here, man. These bulldogs, man. Look, LSU can't come out here like what's his name, Tigger? Is it Tigger from the Disney story or whatever it is, man? They can't come out here like those Tigers, man. Can't come out here playing like Tony. They got to come out here ready and ferocious, man. So if they don't come out here ferocious, man, it might be all day catching those bulldogs.
Yeah, definitely don't want to come out there like Tony because they're going to get frosted flaked for sure or frosted scraped. Because those bulldogs going to be out there eating, man. I haven't seen a dog eat cereal, but I seen you put anything in front of a dog's face, they're going to tear it up. And I think that's what's going to happen to those frosted flake LSU Tigers if they come out there like Tony, man. They got to come out here balling, man.
All right.
I love the frosted flakes.
Frosted, real soggy, real fast.
Yeah. They better not get soggy at the start of this game because it's going to be a long one, that's for sure. Georgia, man, I don't think they played a game on Sim either. They didn't play a game on Sim either. But if I'm not mistaken, we'll have to see. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But I got Georgia in this one.
Hey, thank you, Ryan LeCavalier. That's what I was looking for. I come up at the top of my head. Shere Khan. They got to come out like Shere Khan, man. You know what I'm saying? They can't come out like my boy Tony, man, with the Frosties, man. You know what I'm saying?
I thought he was talking about Tony off the Frosted Flake box, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely that. But I'm talking about I was trying to find an aggressive Tiger, man. You know what I'm saying? They got to come out like, man, they can't come out here playing around, man. So, yeah.
Yep. So that is it for the top for the schedule that we got coming up this week, starting tomorrow. Some big games for sure, especially that game of the week. It's going to be a fantastic week. It's Sim Pro Week. Now we get to see what team is what, who's really legit, and who's been out here faking off that arcade, man. That's going to be who's frauding off that arcade. We're going to find you out. We're going to find you out this week. So make sure you tune into your game to see if your player is going to be exposed or he's going to ball. It's going to be one of those. That's for sure.
Better or is he getting worse?
Yeah.
Going to find out.
And let's move on to the next question. Hold up real quick. I think my computer died over here.
Okay, be having computers die.
So,
while you fix that, we got anybody from LSU in the chat right now? Yeah, how do you guys feel about getting called Frosted Flakes?
I got respect for those boys, man, but I said they cannot come out there and get Frosted Flakes. That's all I was saying.
Y'all know me and Smitty been talking Bron. The whole we had Bron Wheaties,
Bron like LeBron James out here. You know what I mean?
Chris Bron, he got his own line of cereals here in the RFL, man. We've been letting them eat, man, but I don't know, man. You know.
All right, so I guess for the most part, these other questions have been answered. So and it's almost close to 2 hours that this has been running. So these questions really aren't that important. So we pretty much answered those. The final question part of this podcast, though, before we get into the open questions, is a look at the top 100 that was created from Noah Underhill. Did an excellent job on that. Let me see. Where's the
just to put this out there for these guys, this guy has been on me about doing this for I think since the beginning of last season almost, man. He has been so excited to do this, and this is all him. Like all I did was copy and paste some stuff, man. He did all of this himself. He put together a little excerpt for every player. So shout out to Noah for always coming through with that awesome content for us.
All right, so I just added it here. Were you gonna say something, Rob?
Oh yeah, I wrote a little note, man. I said if you made the list, it's a prestigious accolade, and I tip my hat to you. If you didn't make the list, keep working and aspire to be great. I cannot comment on the order of things. It's all in the eye of the beholder. But salute to Noah Underhill, RFL backer, for all his continuous support of RFL content that's over the top and wholesome. Salute. Got to give him the Italian salute on that joint right there, man.
Yeah, shout out to Noah Underhill, man. OG sub putting in work here in these RFL articles. Let's go ahead and look at who he ranked in the first 10 from 100 to 91. So at 100, you got we getting some RFL action, kind of getting me amped for season 6 already. I like this. So nice. Jesse Newhouser came in at 100 for well, I'm gonna go through the list first, and then we're gonna talk about how you feel about it. So at 100 came in Pioneers linebacker Jesse Newhouser. At 99, rookie wide receiver Sean Acosta had a big year. He came in there. Sean Carter comes in at 98, the safety for the Lancers. And at 97, Douglas Straighton, Voyagers wide receiver, coming in there. The typo in the name here is actually Rainey Shropshire, who comes in at 96 at tight end for the Riverhogs. At 95, we got defensive lineman Wayman Yates for the Barons. We got Joey Lott, the tight end, who came over from a trade with the Diablos, and he had a pretty good year there with those Tigers despite their struggles. He comes in at 94. And got one of your guys, Bill, here, Dylan Cutler, guy you found in free agency, coming in and making an impact in the RFL. So was able to play in a Reload Bowl in his first time being in the RFL there, coming in at 93. 92, we got Mahmoud Ajalani, definitely a sleeper cornerback, man. He was pretty shut down last year. He had some pretty good plays, but the Riverhawks cornerback coming in right there. And excuse me, sorry about that. But Brandon Oliver, the former Sentinel, we still got him as Sentinel here because he was this is going off of season 5, but he actually was let go into free agency, and he was signed and is now a London Black Knight. So, but he comes in at number 91. So, what's you guys' thoughts on these rankings, and how do you feel? Do you feel any players should be moved up, out of the list from where they are right now, or what do you guys think?
It's tough to say, man, because like there's still so many players to come out yet that it could say something, but then maybe that player is above where you thought they were going to be. One thing I just stands out to me, man, is like I'm happy to see Sean Acosta up here because that guy had a heck of a year last year when I don't think nobody really expected him to come out and perform the way he did.
Yeah.
So I like the list so far. Just want to see a little bit more of who else is above these guys before I start, making too many teaks or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got the same sentiment as Bill, man. I got to see the whole list to really, figure out, I think that he's in the right ballpark with these guys right here. Do these guys deserve accolades? Yeah, I think these guys that he chose deserve accolades here. But I just got to see the rest of the guys, man, because I think that Newhouser is one of the best linebackers in the
I
league.
was just about that. My gripe to this right here was definitely Jesse Newhouser. I feel like Jesse Newhouser should probably been up there at least 50s or 40s because, I mean, despite how terrible the Pioneers have been over the years, that is the only big star on that team, and he consistently performs. And like you said, I think even though we got a lot of great linebackers in this league, he is definitely one of the best. I think the 100 right there didn't do him no justice. But like Rob said, is he in the right ballpark? I think he's in the right ballpark, man. You was about to say something, Rob, or?
No, you're right on spot, man. Okay, I look at them linebackers, man. So I was like, hold on now.
Yeah, Jesse Newhouser, I think he got this a little dirty, man, getting put there at 100, man. I think it was the team that did it to him.
Bill, man. Bill, you sure this is right, man? You sure you ain't got this? It's supposed to be a 10, not a. I'm just playing. But yeah.
So Jesse Newhouser is one person. I'm cool with Sean Acosta. He definitely should have made the list. Probably shouldn't have been high since he's a rookie. He's got some more to prove, but I think he's good on the list. Sean Carter, underrated safety in the RFL. He was with the Thunderbirds, I believe. I might be blanking on that.
He was with the Explorers last season.
That's who it was. Yeah, the
2
Explorers.
seasons ago, I should say.
That's who it was. Yeah, Sean Carter was the Explorers. I know it was a red team within that division, but Douglas Drayton definitely deserved to be on this. Like you guys said, got to see the rest of the list because I kind of feel like he should have been higher. But we'll have to see. Sean Carter, Randy Shropshire. That's another underrated tight end in this league. I like that he's on the list. Wayman Yates, definitely an underrated lineman that deserved to be on the list. Joey Lott too. Dylan Cutler. I like this list here. Kind of feel like Brandon Oliver could have been a little bit higher, but I could see why he didn't have the most explosive year this past year like he did in years prior.
A lot of these guys on the tail end of this list, it seems, are either really super young and we're not 100% sure what they're going to do yet, or they're on teams or in positions where like Newhouser. We know Newhouser's a great linebacker. But team it's unfortunate because you hate it, but the team just weighs him down at this point. He gets roped in with the Pioneers. There's no other way around it. Even though he's great, that's going to be a blemish on his record until that team can get some more talent and make some noise. And I think see where the list went that way just because of the fact that some of these teams have bright spots, but there's so much other stuff around them that they need to get fixed that the bright spots can't exactly shine as best as they could.
And I think one of the hard things, which is why I give a hats off to Noah, man, for even pulling his hair out. But he's young, man. He can pull his hair out all he wants. It'll grow back. But
no more.
I think that one of the bills that I think that one of the issues or one of the hardest things to do here is the fact that we probably have 32 great quarterbacks, Smitty. Do we? Like at least 30 quarterbacks that are really good?
I say about close to like mid-20s, something like that.
All right, so we'll say 25, man. I mean, that's 25% of the entire list.
Yeah.
And just quarterbacks alone, man. So I'm really interested to see who he chose with the rest of this other 80 90 that we are gonna get to see soon, man. So yeah,
hats off to him. Well, we already know where the GOAT's gonna be at, so
there you go.
We already know where the GOAT's gonna be at. Everyone should know who's gonna be either number one. I still don't look. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna say nothing. So I don't even want to. I still didn't see the official list that he came up with, which I'm glad because I want to have a genuine reaction to this stuff because we're gonna be breaking this down every time that he releases his new 10 set. But matter of fact, I'm gonna say it because I think everyone knows this. I think at number 1 and number 2 is gonna be Drake Crowell and Isaiah Ingram. and either one of those guys flip because, 30 sacks on the season, that's crazy. He's either going to be number one or he's going to be number two.
So is this list based off the last 2 years or all?
This
all
is
the
based
years?
off of this season, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, just
This was based off this.
If it was based off all the years, it would have definitely been Drake.
Well, it can't be Drake Coel at one then if it's based off this season.
We were tripping. Why not?
Oh boy, here we go. Drake Coel again.
Because he sold, man.
Okay. He lost in the playoffs. Okay, we can talk about how he lost in the playoffs again.
Yeah,
but,
great stats.
But the dude, man, he's still. This is based off the players. This is based off the players, my guy. This is based off the players. Who's the top players in the league? Everyone knows that Drake Coel is the best player in this league.
I think
30 plus.
If we're talking about just this first year, I think that Anthony Savoy's performance
I'm definitely got something to say about this.
And a Reload Bowl outshines the performance of the GOAT stat wise.
Let me break this down for you because it seems like everyone forgets about how Anthony Savoy played before going to the playoffs. Everyone forgets that this was the team that had the worst passing offense in the league for more than half the season because
he was winning games though, man.
Yeah, he was winning games, but what to go towards Bill's point, they was winning because of that defense early on. If it wasn't for that defense, they was winning.
Heard it.
At the end of the day, I've been agreed to that a while back. So, you won that argument. But actually, it wasn't even really. I'm not even going to get into that because it really wasn't an argument. I wasn't disputing the fact. I was just pretty much saying like that defense is not more important than offense. That was my point. But just getting back to this. Like Anthony Savoy, you look at him quarterback-wise, his play-wise, yeah, he was good. I don't think he was even the number 2 best playing quarterback in this series in last year. I put Tom Wilson over him.
I'm not talking about stats, right? Stats-wise, he's going to be eaten alive. We're just
talking
about overall what they did to the team, man, and what he did. What Anthony Savoy did this year was absolutely phenomenal for a rookie quarterback coming in.
It was good, but I'm not. Would you put him over Tom Wilson on how he played last year?
Who Savoy?
Yeah,
playing last year.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the whole picture, man. I'm looking at the fact that I'm looking at the fact that he went to a Reload Bowl and won a Reload Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
and so I'm not looking at the stats. Like this is a rookie. I cannot ask for a whole lot from a rookie quarterback, But he came in, he was drafted. Mm-hmm. He goes to a Reload Bowl in his first year. I think that in itself.
But if you're going to equate the whole team. If you're going to equate the whole team like you were saying, this has got to be said about this as well. He wouldn't have probably even made it to the Reload Bowl if it was not for that defense. If it was not for the defense bailing him at the times that he did not play good, he would not have been there. And in the playoffs, he actually did a pretty good job with the scrambling and stuff. But let's look at him at his position, as a quarterback.
But that's what we're looking at though, right? I mean, look at Newhouser is up here at 100, and the Pioneers were terrible.
Yeah, he should definitely be higher.
So it's not just. I mean, I see what you're saying there, but I just feel like what Savoy did was really
good.
Great accomplishment, man.
I just
really,
see.
Really awesome.
I think it definitely was a great accomplishment. That's the reason why he went Offensive Rookie of the Year. But I'm saying, like, there's quarterbacks still from that season that I feel played better than him.
Yeah.
Like, and that's hands down. Mm-hmm. Like, he took him to the Reload Bowl. He did his job, and he won making plays with his legs. That's cool. But there's definitely other quarterbacks that were out here that were balling and making plays.
Yeah, of course.
That I think were better. I put even Glenn Hayes' performance this season over Anthony Savoy. Yeah. I put Tyler Argamonte's performance over him as well. He stepped out in a big way. He even earned the X Factor this year. Yeah. Like there's other quarterbacks I definitely put over him in that discussion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can dig it, man. I can dig it.
What you guys say about it, Bill? You think Anthony Savoy is top dog out here? Or I think he's gonna be great next year. Definitely gonna be great next year.
I think that he did so much already. He had plenty of hiccups along the way.
Yeah,
that it's only gonna get better from here, And he's got a great coach, great team around him. I think he's going to be a top dog. I don't know if I can put him at the top of the quarterbacks list this year if we're just going off of individual play, but can't take what he did away from him,
Yeah. I think he's definitely going to be on this list somewhere high up. I definitely should, based off of how he played. Another thing, just looking at this list, another topic to talk about is, with Jesse Newhouser, I mean, now they don't have a coach. So
Yeah.
that's going to be interesting. I mean, we still haven't even re-rolled out the coaching.
Who doesn't have a coach?
Pioneers. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think coach stepped down.
Oh, I didn't even know that, man.
And we got coaches dropping. I can't even remember that.
Everybody's leaving. Put them all on auto.
Yeah, everybody's pretty much like, I mean, because we had to apply the pressure to the coaches this year, man. We had to really put it on them to let them know that they had to do their job and make sure that they were able for the biggest task right now that we're doing for coaches is we're having them build their team, their entire team. And I told them they got until this month to have their team pretty much built so I can go in and make the final little changes or they're going to be released as a coach. And a lot of guys couldn't handle that pressure, so they walked out. It is what it is. But I really feel like, it's a great thing for the league because the new guys that we brought in as coaches, I really feel like these guys are really committed, willing to do what it takes to, to better their team and to handle their duties and give their absolute all into this. And so I'm glad that we're getting that. I'm glad that we got these guys in. And some of these guys were greats that left, definitely some greats. And I'll say like most of the greats that left here were left for legitimate reasons. So, I mean, definitely nothing away from them. But I feel like the guys coming in are really going to help take this league to the next level, going to help take the competition to the next level. And you're going to see a lot better performances out of the teams for sure. Especially, I'm gonna throw a little shade. Y'all know I don't like throwing shade too much. I'm usually humble, but I'm definitely throwing shade towards the former Monarchs coach because he trashed that team. That was a terrible coach for the RFL, one of the worst in my opinion.
Rest in peace to that.
Rest in peace to him, man. I'm glad he's gone. But we got Coach Cam, excellent coach to replace him. We got a couple spots open. We're going to reopen the rehiring process for new guys to get in to be coaches of these teams, of these guys that just dropped off. We're waiting on that, just making sure that we're handling what's in the Madden file right now. But once we handle all that, we will make an announcement and let guys know that we're looking to add more coaches in, which I'm sure we'll fill that up anyway. There's been a lot of guys asking. But, that's what's been going on.
Hey, man, coach is gone. Players still there. It's still going to be a great season, man. I feel it.
And this is one thing, too, to put out here about this upcoming RFL season. I know this is more like college series time, but I feel like this is like a very big transition year for the RFL.
Yeah.
We have a lot of long-tenured coaches that step down for good reason. We have... think we're starting to see a changing of the guard with the players in the RFL.
Yeah.
All the different changes we're trying to make, with the mod and stuff, and hopefully that works out properly. I just think like guys who've been here for the last couple of years, this year I think is going to be the first year where like you can notice a significant change in everything about the RFL. I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
To piggyback off Bill too, man, I'm gonna tell you, man, one of the main things that I hear, because I talk to a lot of the prospects, man. You guys know I'm in the Discord all the time, man. I talk to these guys, and one of the main things I hear, man, from these guys is that they just want to play for an active coach, man. Like these guys, like these rookies here, these guys are talented, man. These guys are like really into their characters and building pages and stuff. And like these dudes, their biggest fear is being drafted to a coach who's inactive. And I think that says a lot, man. It needs to be said, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to get these coaches. We got to get y'all active, man, because when y'all are not there, and I know some people coasted, and I know we're in the off season and stuff, but the players are still here. They're looking for content. They're waiting to know what's going on, man. So don't be surprised if next year, man, if some of these players get in your inbox trying to tell you what you need to do, man, because they really want to see and project the RFL forward, man. And I think that's going to be something that's going to be interesting for next year.
And that's the big reason why I've been, for the most part, letting guys off and letting them know and putting that pressure on them is because, we can't afford to have dudes saying they're on board all for the RFL, and they don't even show up to games. We got some coaches even still right now. I'm not putting guys on blast. I'm pretty sure you guys probably will know who they are anyway, so I guess technically I am. But, I mean, where have they been at during the college series? I'm challenging you guys right now, because I already put it out there. If these teams, for one, are not done by tomorrow, because it's October 1st tomorrow, ain't it?
Yeah.
If these teams are not done by tomorrow, unless somebody gave me a legitimate reason, a legitimate excuse before I put out that message earlier about that and they don't have their team done, then they're gone. And we're taking in new guys. That's just how it's going, because we're not playing around this year. You guys especially know as much opportunities that I gave coaches before this, but I told coaches, I say, yo, when season 6 gets here, when this season's done and we're making this move to PC, I'm going to make sure that all this stuff that you guys getting away with right now, that I'm letting y'all slide with, y'all ain't going to get none of that when season 6 comes. If you're not showing that you're dedicated, you're going. A lot of people, I kind of think some of the, some people that left, kind of took that for granted. And when they saw that pressure was amplified, they left. It is what it is. That doesn't take anything out of me. At the end of the day, these teams are still going to be here. These players are still going to be here. And let's be honest, the coaches beforehand, not the ones that left, but just the coaches, staff in the RFL in general, before this were not as active as they should have been. And I really feel that that is really, for the most part, hindered some of these teams, these players' interests, because, we need guys being active and really into this. When a coach is not here, and another thing on top of that, when you leave, if you didn't do anything, these players are not going to remember you as a coach, man. Like, they don't care too much about the coach. They care about the player. They care about the team, the league. But, if it's a coach that goes out and, they do the most they can to help the team, and be active and things like that, those are going to be the guys they remember, like Coach Kozier, Coach Chiz, those guys, they did things, they're going to be remembered. They were active in the community when they could be, and of course, couldn't be active towards the end, and they made a bold decision and the right decision to leave. A couple other coaches that left too at that time. So yeah, that's just how it is right now.
I can't imagine what the locker rooms are going to look like when you start getting multiple guys in your locker room that's attached to the coach, and the coach is not responding to them. And we're going to be looking at all that, man. Go ahead and draft 10 of these active dudes, man, and then they get in the chat and start talking, and you're not communicating with them. Yeah. All right.
That's definitely going to be a huge indicator that I'm going to be looking for, man, for sure. But with that being said, we now leave it up to open questions. I know we definitely covered a lot here in this podcast, man. Hit on a lot of things. But if anybody got any questions, we could go ahead and answer those real quick.
Boy, it's got to be like 110 degrees in my room right now.
Yeah, it's kind of hot in my room right now too, man.
I just don't want y'all to hear no background noises, so I just got it all cooped up in here, man. I'm about to, I'm incubating in here, man. This is crazy. Boy.
Today was the first day I had to actually turn the heat on in my car. Man.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's starting to get cold out there, man.
Can I put the fan on now, Speedy?
Yeah, turn the fan on.
Is it gonna run
I don't
the
even
podcast,
know if it's
man?
going to be in the thing, because I think you had the fan on before, and I didn't hear nothing. So
I
you
ain't
might
gonna
be
lie,
good.
bro. Yeah, I feel like I got high blood pressure right now. So I'm like,
Well, right now I'm not seeing any questions. I think that most people got their stuff answered. We really hit on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't really get to read too much of the comments, to be honest, here throughout this.
I didn't see any questions either, man.
Yeah.
Nothing of relevance.
Yeah. Let's see. What do you expect from the switch back to sim? I just think it's going to play back to real. I think we're probably not going to see. From my tests, we're probably not going to see as high as scoring games, but I have seen some pretty good high scoring games. So it's not like we're definitely not going to get those. And honestly, I think it was only one game that wasn't high scoring. So that's a good thing.
This is actually something, not really a community question, but when we're here, obviously with this top 100 list coming out, we're doing the 10-person increments. When do you think what kind of schedule should we have for that release of the next 10?
I think that we should do release 10 a week.
You have enough weeks before the start of the season?
Yeah, we definitely got more than enough because let me see.
Nine releases yet it should be.
Yeah, so 1, 2, we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, definitely more than enough time. We should be done by November 28th.
Okay, perfect. So there it is. I mean, I'll try to do it every single week at the same time, but sometimes I just can't get to it at the same time. But once a week, we'll have that 10 list out for everybody for the next 10 in the RFL 100.
Yeah.
Biddy, high school series, man. We're still building some guys right now, man. I think we got around I guess Lito, what do we got around 30, close to 30 guys, I guess, so far. It's going kind of slow, Smitty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's cool because I mean it's
yeah,
definitely not going to take off right now. Most guys
yeah.
tend to apply when the RFL season is here because they're amped up. So
Yeah.
that's usually how it goes.
So the series, it's kind of, I hate to say it, guys, but it may not start until later, just because we got to slowly wait for the apps. I kind of didn't think about that. You know what I'm saying when I first started. So it may have to start a little bit later. And so, yeah, we'll figure all the logistics out on that, man. But we do got 30 something guys, I think. 25 is what Lito is saying right now. So, yeah, but hopefully it takes off, man. I really hope it does.
So what team that made the playoff last season has the best chance to miss the playoffs this upcoming RFL season? I think we should save a question like that for when the RFL season rolls around. I really can't call any of that right now because a lot of teams got better. And the way we're about to go with this season, it's going to be, we're really going to see if coaches know what they're doing. So we'll have to wait till the RFL season rolls around to answer a question like that. I wish that question was more. I'll change the question up a little bit. Do you think any of the 4 teams, guys, are from the college series playoffs are going to be in the playoffs? Last year we had LSU, we had Florida, we had Ohio State, and of course the championship winning team that year, Clemson. Do you think any of those 4 teams are going to be in the playoffs this year?
I don't know. I see Clemson the closest one, man, right now. Yeah. But I don't see any of the other ones. I really don't see the other ones being that dominant.
I think if it's not Clemson, it's nobody.
Florida started getting hot though. 3-game winning streak. We'll have to see though. They never played a game on sim though, so I don't know.
Yeah.
LSU got an opportunity.
Right now, there's 2 solidified that I see right now is Georgia, and Baylor, solidified for me right now.
I got really liking Auburn in there too.
Yeah. I was about to say that. I'm really liking Auburn, solidified for a 3rd spot right there, and I really don't have a definitive number 4 just yet, man. And so those are definitely the top 3 that I see right now, and we're gonna know starting this next week who's who and what's what.
But this is what's our ranking. I've forgotten the podcast. You guys are number 14 now. We can go. Let me go back to the rankings. Guys are now 14th in the country in the RFL rankings heading into this week. But yeah, that's going to be it, man. We went a little over 2 hours here in this podcast. Pretty much where we land anyway with our podcast here. So perfect timing. Appreciate you guys coming out. Hey. Week 5 starts tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you come through. We got 2 games, one at 6, one at 8. Penn State taking on Michigan and Ohio State taking on Minnesota. It's your boy Smitty, RFL commissioner and play-by-play commentator along with Bill and Rob. And we will see you guys, I guess, tomorrow. Peace.
Badgers.
RP, before I leave, man, RP to that, man. RP to the Wisconsin.
Already.
He tried to sneak that in. We gonna end on that note.
Thought I was gonna end that stream on that. Wait, what? RP to thinking that. Another RP. All right, we'll leave.
Badgers.
Yeah, I didn't end it yet. RIP to doing it again. Alright, doing it again. I knew you was gonna do that. Thought you was gonna squeeze that in. Out of here,
man.
RIP this.
What happened?
What did he do? He just banged on us.
RIP to whatever Bill tried to do right there.
He put it in the chat.
Go back. Oh. Hey, somebody just put the bell in the chat. Someone comment the bell in the chat.
What do you
I'll play it.
Comment, I swear to God.
Delete it.
Oh,
delete it.
I'm watching you.
Delete it, Justin.
Yeah, delete it.
Delete it.
Yeah, Jones, delete it.
Get them badges out of here. Oh, I don't even see it no more.
So Justin said somebody deleted it.
Oh, yeah. RP to Bill's comment.
Oh,
bells in the chat.
What mod abused their powers too, man?
Yes, nobody can delete it because I am superior.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
RP to that statement. Got a lot of bells at the end of this.
Bill got. I forgot Bill got himself in extra protection mode. I've been trying to get mine in there. I can't for some reason. He's in his own little cube, man. You can't delete him off YouTube. He can say whatever he want.
R.I.P. to him because he's about to lose that privilege. All right, man. Let me go ahead and hear him in this.
Uh-huh.